Normally here we'd probably jump to this frame if there was anything to remember that wasn't you know, character things. In this case, we'll stay at the title card. Uh, in the future I may do some kind of like +1 forward mechanic for somebody who can like accurately sum up last time. For the moment, eh. I will go ahead and recover the basically like a previously on, although that was a teaser trailer, so it's probably just the same footage again. The intro to things that go blip in the night. Is everyone ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sound off.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thriving.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because
Okay.
you're out of that game. You're thriving now.
You've escaped. So, the camera for a moment is blurred. We can hear a faint noise of sirens pounding out a warning in the background. All at once, everything snaps into crystal clarity. The noise becomes all that we can hear. Uh, some viewers at home have to turn down the volume as it is far too loud, far too quickly. It is every bit as overpowering as the red alarm light that is constantly sweeping across what we now see is an office of some kind. There is an older man with salt and pepper hair who is sitting before a single monitor with his fingers steepled. The lines around his eyes speak to an age that the set of his shoulders don't seem to carry. The office itself is bare, and his desk is mostly empty but for a picture frame placed down in the corner next to his monitor. He seems largely unmoved by the monitors, or by the alarms. Seems to be unfazed by the annoying flickers of the red light that glare in his eyes from the corner of his vision. And as we sweep from his face, we move to look over his shoulder at a screen he is illuminated by. We see the ending loop played by a security camera showing what appears to be an empty room. It seems to be a holding cell of some kind covered in white rubber mats. The camera we could see is set to infrared. This implies that it must be dim within. There on the screen is a brief flash of illumination. The camera automatically switches gears as the door is opened, casting light into the cell. After a moment, the camera cuts with visible static, and then the man sighs. He leans back, plays through once more. Again, a flash, nothing visible, static, dead camera. The man pinches the bridge of his nose, plays the tape once more. He doesn't seem to see what he's looking for as the emergency lights dim. He sighs audibly, the sound suddenly filling the silence where the alarm once was. He leans back again, closes his eyes. We linger on him for a moment before we are interrupted by a pounding on the door. The man breathes out a long, tired sigh through his nose and says only a single word: fuck. And this is Beeman Bay, episode 1. Uh, Title of the show might change, but this is the pilot. And it is Things That Go Blip in the Night. So we had a roll last time, I believe, our first roll of the game, which was a premonition, a mixed success. So awkward. I have great news for you. You've just won the Mega Millions Powerball. It did take a huge expenditure of power, probably bigger than you've ever tried before. And the adrenaline coursing through your veins right now is pretty great. It is a familiar adrenaline to you in this way, but so much better than any you've had before. I mean, you cheated and got away with it, right? This is the best. How do you feel right now?
I think you described it pretty accurately. Like, I feel like I just got away with murder. So, um, I think too, like seeing as how I haven't suffered any ill effects,
Hmm.
like that adds like a layer of happiness onto it. Um, so yeah,
Something something
go ahead.
weird though. You realize like why can't you read the numbers on the winning ticket? And if you can't read them, how do you know you won? And also, why can't you remember buying the winning ticket. It is from Illinois, and you're currently in Michigan, which I guess it could have been bought online. That makes sense, but well, that does remind you though, Beeman Bay. You know that's where you are right now, which evokes some probably complicated feelings, right?
Dread.
Yeah, and also, why are you in a hospital? Uh, which occurs to you as you realize you're looking at a hospital hallway. Uh, First thing you look for, right, is some kind of signage, like what the fuck, and you find a sign, but you can't read the words on it for some reason. The lights go out, come back on. You get this moment of you almost taste ozone. The lights go out again. The hallway stays dark. You kind of staring into the darkness for a moment as your eyes adjust. You blink and realize you are in Omiris's living room in the Beeman Lofts apartment complex. He has a view of nearly the whole city from up here with his window facing out, and it is unnaturally dark. And it takes you a moment, but with a kind of sickening lurch, you realize why. Even without lights on inside, there should be some light pollution that reaches from the city below. There is none. You sweep your eyes down across Beeman Bay. No lights, no sounds. As you kind of lean forward to look out the window and get your eyes sort of sweep down further, the images begin to whirl with a more familiar, nauseous kind of energy to you, becoming an indistinct sort of smear. There are cars, houses, hospital again, dead cell phone. Only one thing all those things have in common, though: no lights. No lights at all. And you wake up drenched in sweat. What does your room look like with you currently in a bundle of sweat-soaked sheets laying on top of your bed?
My room is definitely a mess. He definitely doesn't. Well, I guess it's not too much of a mess. He has some things strewn about, but everything is always placed back to where he could leave at a moment's notice. But there are like things that he kind of leaves where he feels the need to leave them. So there's no like rhyme or reason as to why anything's where it's at, except for a go bag.
Uh-huh. What is the you haven't had a dream like this in a while, right? And this one is one of the worst for sure. What is like Awkward's protocol for when this kind of thing happens? Like, does he reach for a notepad? Does he like what is your first instinct to do in this moment?
He's gonna grab a pillow, throw it on his face, and scream "fuck"
All right,
because
we
because he knows that he can't leave yet.
uh-huh. We sweep up as the note of the fuck carries on and on as we rise up. Pan over, I believe. Actually, I'll move you to here so you can see the city. I've moved everybody to roughly where they are. Uh, and let's go ahead and go to Cam. Uh, Cam, it is the third Wednesday of the month. It's been pretty uneventful so far. What does the just a regular third Wednesday of the month look like for Cam? It's about 9 a.m.
Cam has probably been up for at least 3 hours or
Yeah.
so. He has done the morning run, done the
Mm-hmm.
morning breakfast run, the same little diner that he goes to, or one of the handful of diners around him that he goes to all the time. Picks up something to bring back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sits down, starts going through all the work emails. That takes all of 30 seconds because
Uh-huh.
there's just nothing. Basically, open the laptop, no new emails. Close the laptop, and
How does Cam occupy the waiting time, the sitting around time?
well, he has oh god, fleece, a sort of fleece lined uh leather roll unrolled all over what serves as a dining room table. It's like one of those very square $30 IKEA tables that has function but no style. And is going through and taking apart all of his weapons. He is getting them oiled and taken care of, and then reassembling them, and then getting them all secured back into the roll.
Does Cam is this like silent? Does Cam like fill, the apartment with like music
Oh yeah,
or like
yeah. It's classic. There's definitely some classic, like some John Denver. Some I need
yeah.
to
You got
pull
to
up
brush up.
Spotify. I need to start adding this to the playlist. Yeah, there's definitely some of that. There's Johnny Cash. There's all sorts of like kind of classic, but not necessarily classic rock.
Is Cam the kind of person who sort of avoids the silence? Like you just got to fill it with some kind of music in the background, or is that just this is part of the routine? The music goes with the cleaning. Like
It's not part
this
of
is
the
part of it.
routine. It's just it's the morning. He's getting jazzed up, getting hyped for
Weather's
the
nice.
day.
It's not misty for once. Your walk was kind of nice. He didn't even
Yeah.
get damp. It's a pretty good day.
There's nothing that's going to be, he's not worried about a call coming in or anything because he hasn't gotten an email. So other than like some sort of massive emergency, he's expecting another quiet day. So, just take his time.
About
Go
that.
through
The song you're listening to, at this point, Cam's familiar with all the lyrics to all the songs, right? It's just like Cam's got
new
his set
music now.
playlist. You, for a moment while you're cleaning your guns, realize that like you've been listening to like uninterrupted silence for about 30 seconds. Do you like run it through like Spotify on your phone to like a speaker, or is like a radio, or what?
Ooh. No, this is probably a radio.
Okay, yeah, you like glance over. It looks like the radio's still functioning, but you move over to tinker with it for a second because must have lost signal or something, right?
He's got one of those crank survival radios. It's
Yeah.
plugged in, but
You fix it, song starts playing again for about 30 seconds before it cuts out again. And you get a single word, which is payphone. And then the song kicks back on.
rolls up the weapon bag and goes to put on like full clothes. He's just been wandering around in boxers, t-shirt, socks.
Yeah, what does Cam's like going out kit look like? What does Cam carry on their person?
Just for regular thing until he's like going to an investigation or anything like that. He's just pretty bare bones: phone, wallet, glasses, keys.
Okay, you know where your two nearest
Sidearm.
payphones are.
Like,
yeah, you got your sidearm. Do you keep your like flak vest on underneath, or is that just for like, is that a day-to-day kind of thing, or just for when you're out in the shit?
Not like when he's walking around the house or anything like that. Anytime he's going to do something about work, though, yes, absolutely, because he doesn't know, he's gonna go get instructions. Maybe he's got to go right away and can't go back, so he will pull that on. It's completely hidden under the what is his average outfit? I would say like stone-colored khakis. Bright like ultramarine blue shirt and like a dark sweater vest.
Do you ever wear the windbreaker? They make sure you have one.
He's
It's
got
optional
one.
if you want to wear it, yeah.
But he does
leave it
not
in the
wear it
closet.
normally because he's supposed to be somewhat like.
Yeah. I mean, also it's not the day for a windbreaker. It's pretty nice out.
Yeah,
It's like 65 and sunny. It's nice. How does Cam get to a payphone? I know Cam does Cam have a car? I think
It's not
said that
great. It's not
Cam
anything
doesn't,
special.
right? Or
Yeah,
he does. Okay.
he does. He's got like
Mhm.
an old like Buick LeSabre, like something old. No,
Mhm.
no. What's the old like Lincoln Town Car? Like it's a big land yacht, but not fancy. It's not
An
pretty. It's
Oldsmobile
not.
Delta 88.
I
That-
only
I mean,
take
that's
ire
pretty
with that
good.
because I've stated that I drive an Oldsmobile for this game.
Like you guys,
No,
you guys
it's definitely a Buick.
Gotcha. So yeah, you go out to the apartments. Like, actually, here's a good question: what does the inside of Cam's car look like? Is it messy? Is it like what kind of stuff do you just keep, in the back seat?
Oh god, his car kit is just like jumper cables, floor of the back seat.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna need to be jumped at some point. Might
Yep.
even be Cam. So he's got jumper cables. He's got one of those like cigarette lighter air pumps. That's on the floor
Yeah,
of the
I
back.
just bought one of those.
He's got one of those like as seen on TV things for cleaning the inside of your windshield. Like it's all
Mhm.
car stuff, and it's not like there's a ton of food. There's no food crumbs, there's no food trash, but the car
Mhm.
is somehow still just like cluttered.
Yeah, just filled with stuff.
Yeah, like I mean, he's got a first aid kit. He's got a like a what are those things? The like they're about the size of a playing card, but they're like a shock blanket. He's got a
Oh,
box
yeah,
of
yeah,
those
yeah.
things, like because those are disposable. So he's got like a case of them.
You've got like a box of military rations for some reason, just in a little like
Couple
backpack.
MREs just
Yeah.
tucked into the like compartment by the wheel well.
You hop into this. Car takes a second to start, but you get moving. I assume listening to the same kind of music in the car. Like driving songs aren't any different than cleaning the gun songs.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We will, as you are driving, we'll sweep away from you for a second. And we will, as we pan up over, we zoom in on Wilmarth campus. It is 9, so there are plenty of students about. We zoom into one of the buildings to the side, where we zoom in further to a window, and through the window, we see Rob Hawks, I believe. Are you there, Dawson?
I am. This is perfect. When you zoom
Okay.
in, he's got like a cup of milk, and I'm
Mhm.
doing this right now. This is perfect. He's got a cup of milk and a box of Chip Ahoy Chewies, and he's
Rob,
just walking.
it's been one of those fucking mornings, man. You were up late last night diving down another rabbit hole. This time it was cave dwelling subhumans.
Ooh,
Yeah, before you knew it though, it was 4 a.m. And it's currently, you'll note, 5 hours later. You've already missed the 8 a.m. introduction to philosophy, so you're fucked on that one. You were supposed to be present for it. You don't think probably that Professor Grown will be too upset. But existentialism starts at around 9:30, so you have maybe 12 minutes to get showered, maybe probably like 10 minutes if you want to just leave now.
yeah. Okay, so he's not worried about all that. He's gonna. It's a rough one today. So he's going to the kitchen, like the not the kitchen sink. Oh my god, he's going to the bathroom sink.
Mhm.
And he's running his hair through the water, making it really wet, taking a wash rag, washing his face. He's taking
Yeah.
like, for lack of a better word, the hoe shower, where you hit all the spots with like a
Uh-huh.
rag.
Now,
And
quick
then
question: what do the clothes that Robert fell asleep in from the day before look like?
oh, it's just like the loose
It-
tie, like
uh-huh.
the one shirt like tag is pulled out, and like it's all crinkled and everything. He's like, oh my god, this he's gotta get rid of that. He's gotta at least look somewhat presentable. He can't look like a complete bum. So he's taking
What
that one
does
off.
what does your definitely not a dorm room look like?
So okay,
Definitely an apartment.
The kitchen kind of messy. It doesn't clean up all the dishes as much as he should. Has a working dishwasher, just refuses to put them in there.
That's yeah.
Living room, he's got like it's a little bit like scraggly, crowded. It's not as clean as it should be.
How many
Majority of the
ashtrays?
uh he smokes on the balcony. He at least
Okay,
keeps that one.
that's very conscientious. Nice.
But when you get to the back room though, right? Like the mixture of like where the bedroom should be, but
Mhm.
he took the bed out. He sleeps in the living room. That's what he likes. The
Uh-huh.
bedroom is the neat room. Everything has a place. It's got the
Uh-huh.
billboard where it had the connections between this is what this incident was, this incident.
Uh-huh.
The runs over here. He has sections over here, like off to the left, for Wendigo notes. Over here for the like the subhuman cave dweller notes. He has like categorized where you could go to each one, you can actually find what
Mhm.
you're looking for. But the rest of the house, shambles.
It's all just like collected towards this one room that is meticulous. Do you
Yes.
like have a desk? And I mean, it would come with a desk, right? It's kind of like a dorm, so you'd have a very basic desk for it.
I would say
Uh,
that, but he sort of like disassembled it, so it's not one you sit at. It's just more
uh-huh.
like next to the door. This is like the busy room. If you sit and get too
Right.
comfy, you might not find what you're looking for. So he stay when he comes in here, he makes sure he knows what he's going for. He wants to stay
Is
focused and pace around.
as we like do a quick flashback to last night, like does Rob tend to just pace, like just walk back and forth, or does Rob like sit, or how do you go in the zone with Rob Hawks when you're
This
going
is a
down a
back and
rabbit
forth
hole?
pace where he has like a few notes. He's trying to like go over all the little details. Like you can go through the little things of hey, this is where people last saw them, but
Hmm.
people really skip the this is where we last saw them, but it was around this certain time. When he was
Hmm.
looking at the notes, one of all like the assumed sightings have been, is it late at night? Are people saying they've seen them during the day as well? If that's
Hmm.
the case, are there other things that people aren't notating? Can he find them on any forums? So he just tries not to sit.
Cool, cool,
He's
cool.
really just going back and forth. He
Yeah,
wants to keep like a pace so his mind stays running.
we snap back to the present. You've just finished like
Oh, it's the
kind
whole
of
box.
brushing your teeth. You did not do the whole toothbrush.
No, no.
No,
This is he
that's too
puts on like
time
a
consuming. You can't get like a 2 minutes in.
no,
That's
no.
a precious 2 minutes.
Throws on like a black shirt, grabs the coat, grabs the scarf, and grabs a few notes that he may have for the what you said the philosophy class. It was what it was.
It's technically existentialism, but I mean, philosophy is close enough for you, right?
All
Like
right.
you just gotta be there.
Grabs a few notes for that one. While he's on the way to the next one, if he makes it this far and it's on the right path, he's swinging by the existential class and he's just popping in. He'd be like, "I've had a crisis," and then walks back out and goes right back to the next classroom, and that's where he leaves it.
Uh-huh. I here's the thing, like as you are like beginning your, march there, like you're gonna need an excuse lined up, right? Professor
Yes.
Grown generally isn't upset, but you gotta have something. Um and as a little context for your relationship to this woman, uh you've been working for her for a bit, right?
Hmm.
Uh but she's starting to get a little impatient. What with the whole, lack of actual evidence.
Yes.
A clump of werewolf hair, not impressive by itself, right? Because that's just a clump of hair. The Wendigo pictures you took do look suspiciously like a bear with mange.
Hmm.
The screaming tree didn't do anything when she was around it. Um, so these are some problems you're encountering here, vis-a-vis giving her what she wants, which is demonstrable proof of the, paranatural, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Can't.
you gotta have a light touch today. You're not at the end of your rope here, but you got to start kind of finessing it a little bit. The honeymoon
Oh,
phase is
that's
over.
no, that's great. Cause what is it?
Mhm.
Oh, it's this one, the video with the Cam, specifically
Uh-huh.
the one with the Wendigo.
Got
If
it.
I remember, because this is the one where Cam was fighting it.
Right. The
So
bear with mange.
yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
but
Got it.
he really doubles down on that one and like puts it on the desk and he's like, "I want you to actually go through this. Look for any bears that you think actually look like this 100% of the time.
Mm,
Wendigos have transformation capabilities. They can possibly look like other creatures. They are wilderness. You have to understand that they're not going to be like what we typically think they are in modern day video. It's not going to be the same. Just because it looks like a bear in this one doesn't mean it's not a Wendigo.
This is your pitch like 3 days ago when you're talking to her like, "Hey, listen," and you're having one of your dinners. We're like, "Listen, hold on. I
Yes.
promise we're getting there." And as
Yeah.
a quick thing, just for a vibe sort of check, what does Robert Hawks look like as he is storming across the campus in his detective coat, his scarf, and like chain smoking cigarettes? Like you're
Kind of
passing other teachers and students, right? Like, what do you look like to them?
uh from what I picture in my head, kind of lackadaisical, where he's not super stressed on running there. Like he knows he's running
Mhm.
behind, he probably should be, but he's trying to make it look like he's enjoying the best life that he has, so that way nobody stops and asks him if anything's going wrong. So that way he could still make it there without intervention.
Okay. You so the class you already missed, right, was philosophy at 8. You know it's probably going to be finishing pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's Professor Grown is doing both, right? So if you play your cards right, you got existentialism covered. And you know the arrangement is you kind of just have to sit in there
Mm-hmm.
and then occasionally answer questions. Although the questions you answer are either A, wait for Professor Grown's office hours, or B, you should study that. Whatever the deflection of the day is when they try to ask you about philosophy questions you don't know the answer to.
Nice, nice.
hmm But yeah, you make it in time, about a minute to spare. Do you sit in the front or like do you catch a seat in the back?
Slides in like slides in like the awkwardness where you think you're coming in quietly, but everything's
hmm
quiet because it's probably everybody's packing up, and then the door just creaks open. He just like tries to slide into the back until he realizes that everybody sees him walking in this
Yeah.
classroom.
You are the TA. They are aware who you are, Mr. Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
They know you. Uh, do you even also as we begin the class, like, do you sit down, like, pull out a laptop, pull out your phone? Like, what is Hawks's move as he's sitting through a class he's not going to pay any attention to?
To give the impression that he's really paying attention, he keeps away from technology. He pulls out a pen and
Okay,
paper, so
yeah,
that way when he's like writing, you can't really question unless you're
uh
looking
huh.
over his shoulder.
Yeah, if you're
Most of the
looking
time,
over his
it's
shoulder, you're
doodles.
seeing him drawing
Yep.
Wendigo doodles.
Yep, you're doing the few doodles. Maybe like occasionally he has like an epiphany in his head, so he writes down like little jotted notes where he could connect them later on when he goes back to his room. But
hmm
then he goes back to the doodles. Every occasionally you hear yes, yes, professor, yes, professor.
uh-huh. Okay. You note that the students give you kind of like a 2-seat buffer around you in every direction. Like they tend to just stay away from you, if only because you're like the TA, and also because you're clearly not a normal TA,
No.
not even remotely. But everybody seems to just be pretending that you are. Uh, and I think we will zoom out from there. We will actually we go high up into the sky, and we pan sideways to a nearby apartment building, a very tall apartment building with the kind of, doorman down below. And we go up to the top of there into what is almost a penthouse apartment. And we will focus in for a moment on Amiros. Are you ready, Amiros? Or is it Amaros? Need to get
No,
that one down.
Amiros is good.
Okay.
Amiros.
Got it. Okay. 1 second. Amiros, it is a splendid day in Beeman Bay as you maybe rise to meet the morning. I suppose I'll ask, what time does Amiros get up? Like, what does an average morning for Amiros look like?
As the sun begins to rise and its rays spread
Uh-huh.
across the city, so do the automated blinds in the penthouse,
Uh-huh.
slowly
Yeah.
letting in the light. Uh, it's a great day in Beeman Bay, as it always is. Amiros wakes up in a large bed, everything made of natural
Mm-hmm.
linens. um, as his stirring awakens the other member of the house, you see a little cat hop up onto the bed. as Artemis makes herself known. I think it's like his general dress, which is like light fitting cloth. That's his like general vibe of house clothes. As he's getting up, the machine's making coffee. Things are just starting around the
Yeah,
house.
the
I mean,
automatic cat feeder is going off.
yeah, like this is
Uh-huh.
wealth buys you a lot of conveniences. um,
Does Amir like sit and just look out over this big, panoramic window? Like what does Amiros do as everything is sort of kicking on?
everything is kicking on, right? The coffee is made, the cup is grabbed, and walking up to the very edge of the glass, looking over the city, it helps remind him of the larger picture, which is what he's here for.
And I think to feed into that, you look out over Beeman Bay, your current city, right? This city of prophecy you have come to. And as you contemplate it, this happens to you quite often, actually, this almost physical thrum of nostalgia. The again, almost physical weight of memory sort of distorts your vision for a moment. You are on top of a mountain looking down at a small fishing village nestled near a lake. You are standing at the edge of a basin and looking down into a city of waterfalls and feathered serpents, all lit in the glorious colors of the sunset. From atop a pyramid, you look down at the bustle of an ancient metropolis surrounded by desert, hugged closely to a long and winding river. In dense jungles, you watch the sun rise over trees as the light burns away the morning mist. But this isn't those places. This isn't those places of memory, those places you have been. This is the city of prophecy, right? The current age of mortals will somehow hinge on the confluence of the magical energies that call themselves Beeman Bay. Um, what does, as this kind of reverie overtakes Amiros, like, how does Amiros feel, in this moment of like just the weight of this life, this long life that you have lived, kind of crashes down upon you?
um, there's a sensation of knowing these things were long ago, but feeling as if they were just beyond yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think also the weight of responsibility that I am here.
I think to feed into that, this is also probably the first time in the morning when you feel the weight of that pouch around your neck. Gets a little heavier for a moment, right? As you
Yeah,
kind of remember, you come back to yourself a little bit.
there's always a subconscious tendency just to like reach up and make
Uh-huh.
sure that it's there.
Like sometimes in moments of just regard or experience, right? You can forget for a second that what this is, right? But then you remember. And you kind of, as you said, you reach up and run your hand over it a little bit. After eating her food, Artemis goes up on top of the sort of luxury, very expensive cat tower, stretches once, gives you a slow blink, and you know this to be the last of the acknowledgement you're going to get for some time from Artemis. As
yeah.
befitting royalty, she has eaten, and now she is done acknowledging your presence.
Just a smile at my companion.
Does Amira spend like how much of the morning? Because this happened probably 2 or 3 hours before we follow Rob Hawks, right? You watch the sunrise.
Yeah.
Um, how long does
um,
Amira spend just sort of standing, reminiscing?
there's like the morning exercise routine, right?
Mm-hmm.
My body will stay good, but I need to keep it,
Yeah.
good. Healthy mind, healthy body, right?
Mm-hmm. A lot of yoga.
Yeah, there's definitely yoga in there for sure. Um, not there's like some weights, in a little
Mm-hmm.
dedicated area, but yeah, some morning exercise. I think there's like reviewing on like a computer that has like many monitors, let's say like four or five, just like news that's happening, right? And there's just kind of like a feed of different news from around the world.
Yeah, I mean, to you, this is still fairly novel, right?
Yeah.
The introduction of this level of understanding the world is fucking unprecedented, right? They're all taking it for granted, but for you, it's been like a week relative time, right? Since you were able to like find out what the fuck is going on in like Africa right now, or like what's going on in like Belgium.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you would have had to like ask someone before, like ask a ship captain or something.
Yeah, a guilty pleasure is watching like live city street cameras
Uh-huh.
and just
You've,
seeing
you've got like 7 of them up just to like look at like what's
like
going on.
yeah, what's happening in this city right now? Holy, can you believe it? I think that for a little bit, right? It's good entertainment. But to get a sense of like, is there anything happening? Was something always having some kind of local stuff on it.
Mhm.
I think it's then I cook. Uh
Mhm.
I cook like spending time making like a really nice omelet.
Mhm.
Seeing like this is a person who like they know how to make this dish.
When
They're skilled in
Amiris
the kitchen.
when Amiris moves around, like does Amiris move quickly or slowly? Like what is when Amiris is at rest, right, moving around his place? Like what is his speed like?
I think it's not super fast, but I feel like agile,
Like
graceful to a
languid,
degree.
sort of like a hunting cat or something, like a
A bit, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, not stompy for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's fluid in the movement. Um I make this wonderful omelet and another cup of coffee and I head downstairs, having dressed for the day, um, head out the through the lobby,
Greet the doorman.
greet the doorman, ask how the family is,
Uh-huh.
friendly with everybody that I come across. Um, and I don't know if they're here, but I'd like to either give this omelet to the whatever department Cam works for, whatever the agency that is, to whoever's staked out, or if they're not there, the local homeless guy that stays around this area.
Yeah, there is a partially because you have made it clear that he gets to live here, right? There is a guy that lives like a block around the corner that has like a tent. I don't know what his name will be yet, but he is usually there. And he's like happy for the meal, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just chat with him, make sure he's doing okay, right? Um, and then I just head off into the city.
Yeah. Okay. As we sweep past Amiros walking, we sweep up to back into your penthouse and to the empty coffee mug. As we zoom in on the empty coffee mug, we zoom out of an empty coffee mug in a bustling and predictably trafficked coffee house, Bob's Bean House or Bobby's Bean House, where we will meet Harlow.
Okay.
It
What
is
time is it, real quick?
right now. It's about 9. We're back
Okay, good to
to
know.
where Rob Hawks was. It's about 9 a.m. There is the only people that are in here at this time either have to be up or are real type A people, right? Getting their coffee. Uh, Neither of which is very good energy, generally speaking. It'll get a lot nicer at around 11. You're kind of up against it right now. This very brick and mortar kind of place practically just reeks of ancient coffee and more recently and inexplicably a heavy amount of lavender. Jane called out sick this morning. Her replacement has an exam, and that means it is currently on you, Harlow.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've woken up today, there's like, I don't know, there's just sort of a reek of extra Wednesday exasperation on all of your usual clientele that's got you in kind of a funk, for a lack of a better word. What does Harlow wear to work at Bobby's Bean House?
Uh, um, I'm assuming any day that I'm working, I'm not precisely expecting to see owners. Um,
Mhm.
which means that well, wait, what season are we in?
We are in winter.
Okay.
It is a
That
unseasonably warm day in winter currently.
okay. In that case, he's definitely wearing like a non-uniform like pullover hoodie underneath a pair of like pull over over like coveralls,
Mhm.
um, which is fairly common for him, especially in the cold. He wears like I hate to say like oh Carhartt like
Uh-huh.
but like he literally does because he loves and fills the pockets on
Yeah.
them.
As a question, you have the option whether you actually want to work the register, right? You could
uh-huh.
just you could tell the other two college students working currently that one of them's gotta work the register, right? Do you like working the register? Do you choose to work the register if you can, or do you just stick to making coffee and making
I
those extra
actually think that
sandwiches?
I prefer to be forward facing to the
Got it.
customer over the kids because
Yeah.
they are nice, but not everyone at 5 a.m. is nice.
Right. Yeah. They are a little deer in the headlight when a particularly shitty person is angry about like you got the you got the amount of lavender wrong.
And
One of the
I think
really
I have
weird
enough
things
security
there
with
is.
this job that I don't feel bad about telling a customer to
Uh-huh.
piss off.
Oh, and
So
Bobby absolutely it is policy that you should be telling people to fuck off. You could find other
okay,
business if
that's
people aren't
true.
gonna
It's
get
just
their shit
coffee.
together. Yeah, I mean, now granted, Bobby is not a great businessman. We've covered this privately. Bobby's up against it right now, but Bobby has given you
You,
permission to tell people to fuck off, for good or for ill.
you can smell the old coffee here, but if you really, really smell, you could smell like the water damage.
Yeah. There's a little bit of seepage. It's you just don't look in the corners really. Don't look in like the bottom right or left corner. Which actually now you've just finished like checking somebody out, right? They're walking out and there is a little like fluorescent light that sits over the doorway. That is underneath it is a little bell. And that fluorescent light has just been kind of beaming directly into your eyes today in a really annoying way.
hmm
Um, just it just weirdly pissing you off a little bit. It just it just seems to be like you try to like, not focus on it and your eyes just keep shifting back to the fucking light. The light isn't even all that bright right now, right? It's just on and it does a little blink every time the bell below it rings. So maybe that's why your eyes keep getting kind of sucked over to it. What as we like kind of like focus in on the coffee shop, uh, what does Harlow do when there is no customer, when there's nothing to, do? You hit these idle 15 to 20 minutes here and there, right? What does
hmm
Harlow do with himself?
Especially if I've been bugged by this light and it's so goddamn early in the day to like be having to take a Cedrin. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
uh, I think he starts by doing that and then like takes a few opportunities to like go into the bathroom and clean his glasses and kind of
Uh-huh.
look at his own eyes in the mirror a little bit.
And
Um,
so we as the audience, right? What do we see from Harlow's eyes? Like when he, takes down, we see his face in the mirror.
yeah, with the glasses off, and like looking into the mirror with a light over, he can kind like the shadows kind of carry a little bit into the eyes, and he leans forward, catching more of this light a little bit, and the hollow of his pupils illuminate,
Mhm.
like raccoons do.
Yeah, like raccoons.
um, and he kind of like uses some of that light to see if he can maybe catch something maybe in his eye or something, but he's not an optometrist, and he realizes very quick that he uh, does not know what is going on,
Yeah.
and that it's hopefully just a headache,
It
and he just
might
puts
just
his
be eye
glasses back
strain.
on.
Look, everybody in your generation has eye strain. It's just part of it. It's probably just that, right? It's just the
Yeah,
fucking light. The
yeah,
fucking the
and once
fucking
those
light. You're
like
just having a bad light day.
and when the
Yeah.
blue light lenses of the
Uh-huh.
glasses get back over his eyes, they like muggy up most of that
Uh-huh.
reflection. It still probably is visible at night in low light through the
Mhm.
glasses, but during the daylight, certainly not.
Yeah, during the daylight, it's enough to filter out the specific weird wavelength of light that your eyes kind of refract strangely. Uh, as you leave the bathroom, we will sweep out the front door past that light that dings as it blinks again, out into the street. We pan up a little bit, and we zoom in on Deb. Uh, Debbie, you are currently behind the wheel. Um, it it is not like super uneventful, but it's been pretty uneventful as far as your job goes. Uh, you get the usual amount of people to, like, I don't know, car trouble, and you had to get to school, or you had to get to work at the hospital, or you have people who have like a surgery on that day, and they're getting from the hospital over to they're getting from the hospital to their place of their hotel or something, or vice versa. But you've been driving now. I guess that's a good question. What time does Deb wake up each morning? Like, when does Deb start shit off?
Deb is an early riser, and
Hmm.
I would say that her morning routine, more often than not, is when possible. She likes to follow the same morning routine, and that is
Hmm.
she likes to turn on the drive sharing apps and wait for a ride that needs to be dropped off somewhere on campus.
Hmm.
That gives her an excuse to be on campus to both check on her protectee
Hmm.
surreptitiously, and also to stop by Rob Hawk's office and more often than not catch him there, but just in case she can, she has a dry cleaned men's shirt in her bag.
Uh-huh.
Did not catch him this morning. From there, usually stops by Bobby's Bean House,
Hmm.
gets coffee for herself and a cup of tea. She doesn't drink the tea, but she sits around and drinks the coffee. When things are really slow, likes to tell stories and swap stories with Harlow.
Hmm.
Stays out of the way while things are busy and really minds her business unless there's a particularly rude customer, in which case some coffee gets spilled on them accidentally, of course. And, after her coffee is either finished or spilled, she is on her way, parks her car about a block away from Amiris's apartment building to drop the tea off outside of a tent. This morning, she sees that there is a rather fancy china plate sitting outside that tent as well. So she knows that there's no sense in stopping by Omiris's apartment today
Yeah,
as he
he's
is
out.
already out. And that's, when possible, that's sort of her standard early morning routine. And on this particular day, has had a good night's sleep, and the coffee is working its magic. And so she has left her rideshare apps on and has been driving around the city, picking people up and dropping them off.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you just recently dropped a kid off. And you did get a text. Sometimes it's the best you can get from the kid, right? You didn't drop your kid off, but your kid sent you a text before his 9 a.m. class. He's still bitching about his roommate. He's been having issues with the guy for a couple of weeks now, but you checked him out and it's nothing serious.
Right.
You are currently, as you said, just sipping coffee behind the wheel of your Sienna. It doesn't look like you have another ride scheduled. So do you just sort of stay kind of parked on campus grounds, or do you, like pull
No,
off into a particular parking lot?
I think what I do is I know the high traffic areas in the city, and particularly, I'm sure I've got sort of a loop that I can drive around and know that chances are pretty good that my next ride, is going to come somewhere in the vicinity of this loop. So I'll do that to keep myself busy. And when no one else
For
is
the
in
record, that wider loop would definitely be like you're kind of just driving from Wilmarth to St. Setons back and forth, right?
Gotcha.
'Cause somewhere in the middle of there, somebody's
Yep.
gonna need to go one way or the other, right?
Gotcha. Yeah,
Everybody's always going to the hospital, or they're always going to Wilmarth.
Gotcha. Right. It makes great sense. And if nobody is in the van with me, I am most likely listening to playbacks of whatever the most recent professional wrestling show was, and just have that sort of as the background noise that is drowning out the traffic sounds.
And out of curiosity, like, what does the inside of your car look like? I asked the same question of Cam, right? Like, what is the vibe of the inside of your car? Like, what kind of stuff do you have as an Uber driver, or don't have?
The inside of the car is immaculate. There are cushions on all of the both the second and third row seats. The headrests behind the second row seat, or behind the headrests of the driver's seats, both have iPads on them that point back to the second row seats that are all tapped into the Uber passenger app, so you can see where you're going and all of that sort of some dumbass trivia game that's on there. I've got the Sienna has a center console for that second row of seats that has chargers in it. I have purchased air vent air fresheners that are lavender scented. Maybe a little heavy for some people, but it's my fucking van, so get fucked.
It's gearing on potpourri.
Right. And, people might think it's too heavy, right? But I, as a professional driver, know that all it takes is one person that smells off, right?
Yeah, that's
And
the whole day.
it can be a problem the whole day. And so, this is short of telling them I'm not driving them, right? This is the next best defense to that. There's bottled waters available for people should they want some. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. You get a ping over at St. Setons. It's one of the scheduled ones, so it's not for like an hour and a half.
Mhm.
So you can drive over there or just stay here, right? You know your time
Right.
thing, but you got a second to just sort of sit,
Okay.
right? Do you stay in motion or do you actually like find a spot and wait? Like, what's your instinct? Is it to just keep driving, or do you find a spot to sort of sit
Yeah, I
down?
mean, with this amount of time, like I will keep driving, but my circles will get tighter and tighter around the pickup spot. My hope is still to get, one more fare, because it's important that my logs reflect that I'm doing this as a primary means of supporting myself. It's
Right.
it although the money is truly unnecessary for me, the cover is desperately necessary, right? And so I need both the financial logs and the Uber app that tracks where I am, right? To look like I am behaving like someone who is constantly trying to pick up riders.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, in keeping with that vibe, then, with your permission, I think you've got a space underneath the passenger seat, a
Uh-huh.
little like compartment, right, to hide shit away in. You don't keep
Oh,
that shit in
yeah.
the dash, right? You got a
Oh,
little spot under there. You've
it's
got a lot of
that,
those
right.
spots in
That's
the game,
one
but
of
that's the
many
nearest.
just in the van.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the nearest one.
Yeah.
And you have taken out your little police scanner. It's a newer model in the sense that it can clip onto a like air vent and doesn't have to like sucker in onto the dash or on the window, but it's still a pretty old piece of technology, right? But the good part of it is it can just pass for a regular like police detector.
Oh,
It's just one of those
yeah.
that
I mean, I
it's
think
got the
it.
red dots, right? It
Yeah.
just
And I think it bleeds in. I've got a CB radio in the car, which I don't actually use all that frequently, but it's there as camouflage for this particular piece of tech.
On this particular day, you see a fairly moderate amount of chatter. Uh, in this case, it just looks like dots moving very quickly from left to right. Um, the last time anything like this happened on this particular channel, as you've flicked to this specific channel, was yesterday, which you double checked, and as far as you know, it was some kind of homicide over at St. Setton's. You kind of idly flick through each of your channels, right? And you get to the channel for uh, what could charitably be called special circumstances. Special circumstances division of Beeman PD are not taken very seriously. If their radio is on at all, it means something very strange is going on. And today there is a lot of activity on there. One of them is using their radio a lot. What does Deb do with that information, I guess? As you see, it's been a while since anybody used this channel, and nobody's ever used it this much.
I think under these types of circumstances, Deb's first instinct, particularly recently, is to send a text to Cam that just reads, "What have you heard?"
Perfect. Okay. We now enter into closer to real time. It is around 9, at this point, probably 45 a.m. Cam, you to go back in time for a little bit, you've already made it to the payphone. You're probably on the way back to your apartment from the payphone, right? And at the payphone, you went through the usual process. You had to input a specific amount of change. You had to use dimes for some reason, and you had to type in the exact number, right? Today, you got a single word not particularly helpful, but you got a single word, which is hospital. Are you there, Ted?
I sure am. I am
Yeah.
muted. Yeah, I guess I am driving to the hospital.
Okay, so you get the text from Deb at around this time. You're pretty close to the hospital, right? When you go to that payphone, the one, assuming you went to the one, I guess it's a good question. Is your instinct to go to the one by Seton or the one by Wilmarth?
Jeez, they're
The
pretty.
one by
They're pretty
Wilmarth is
close,
the
but
family video.
yeah,
If that matters.
definitely Seton. It feels like it's also just like an easier drive. I don't have to cross the river. I don't have to worry
Yeah, I
about
mean,
the
it's in the
bridges.
Domino's parking lot. Like it's like a Domino's gas station mixture
Yeah.
thing that's kind of by one of the like main roads there. Okay. Yeah, you are just leaving there when you get the text from Deb. And it says, what again, Adam?
What have you heard?
Because I am driving, I will make note of it and not answer.
Yeah. You realize like you probably are gonna have to just pay for street parking a couple blocks away. It's easier than trying to get into one of the like parking garages and getting a ticket and everything. Also, tickets leave a trail a little bit, and there's probably like cameras and stuff. So it might just be a habit of like, I don't know, park on the street, pay a fare, and if you have to, and in the fucking change you're required to carry around, and then just hoof it, right?
Yeah, I think whichever is closest is really what he's gonna go for, even if it means waiting longer. He's that sort of. He's got that
Okay.
patience.
Yeah. So it takes you longer than you'd like to find a parking spot in one of these parking garages.
Fine.
In that, yeah,
It
it's
took
just
how long it took.
yeah. You park again, looking down at your phone, where it is now 15 minutes late later on Deb saying, "What do you know?"
I will, now that I am parked, just respond back, nothing.
Deb, you get nothing. Deb, for
Okay.
you, it's probably about an hour till you got to be over it. You're already kind of like patrolling around St. Sentence, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for the spot.
Um. Um. About how long does it take to get across this city?
Probably about 20 minutes. It's
Okay.
not super big, and it's fairly reasonable.
Great. I got time. Cam hasn't heard anything. Um, I'm gonna do one loop out to the police station and back and just see,
Uh-huh.
like, I just want to get eyes on how much commotion is going on over there.
Let's see.
Are they
Okay.
like? I mean, I would imagine, right, that if I know what the weird channel is, and I know there's almost never any traffic on it, and there's a bunch of traffic on it today, right? I might have a sense of what sort of gear the weird channel people might be using or mobilizing if there was a problem.
Okay. I think I'm gonna ask for. It's a little off book, and it's gonna be restricted in some of what you can ask as a part of it, right?
Hmm.
But I'm gonna go for investigative mystery, and I think you will get an appropriate +1
Okay.
because you are doing this as a part of canvassing while in your vehicle, right? And
Right.
you are a driver. This is your specialty, right?
Cool.
Getting snippets of information and working your way through what those things mean.
Cool.
So go ahead and give me an investigative mystery.
Okay. Uh, and I don't see where to add the +1. I guess we'll just add that after the fact.
Yeah, we
Oh, no,
can.
there it is. There's a forward on there. I guess I can add
Gotcha.
+1 in there. Great.
All right, let's go. Let's
Good
go.
shit.
Yeah, hell
Okay.
yeah.
So obviously this is a little weird, right? Because some
Mhm.
of these questions might not be applicable, but
Mhm.
you get to hold two. So you can choose to ask me these right now or
Mhm.
ask one and hold it until kind of later in the scene.
Right.
Okay.
So you can like combo them off of each other potentially. So which of these investigative mystery questions do you want to ask me?
I think the closest one to what what sort of information I'm trying to get out of the police station is what's being concealed here. What,
Got
you
it.
know?
Okay. You at this point, I think what tips you off to it is there are 3 vehicles. You know the vehicle number, right?
Mhm.
For the several people who are part of the special circumstances division. They are not here, which is weird. All 3
Mhm.
of them are not currently here. They are conspicuously absent, which is strange because generally, like if you're doing surveillance for other shit, they're usually like the baseline cars that are here, right? Because they're hardly ever sent out to go anywhere. Because again, they are not taken very seriously at
Right.
all. So the fact that they've gotten off the bench today is the first thing that immediately jumps out to you. I think that one happens fairly quickly. You're like, oh, wow, okay.
Excellent.
And then the flow of it, right, is you hold 2. So that whole second hold
Mhm.
generally expires at like the end of a scene, or contextually sort of expires when you can't like hold it for the whole session, right?
Right.
But it is appropriate to occasionally build off of your previous answer with another, combo it into another question, right? When
Right.
you crush it that hard.
Before I ask the second question, let me ask this. In terms of how we operate as a team, right? Since we have been a team for some time at this point, right? What do we have any idea of how that looks like, or are we fleshing that out now? Like, because at this point, if I'm hearing there's chatter, right, on the special circumstances channel, I know all the special circumstances vehicles are missing. My next step would be, hey, like, I want to give everybody the heads up that there might be something that we need to mobilize for.
Yeah,
I guess just talking through it, I guess I just send out a group text saying, maybe not that explicitly, but whatever code we have for, or maybe we don't even need a code. Maybe I just, the fact that I'm sending a group text to this specific group, it doesn't matter what the context is or what the words are. Everyone knows the context. And that is, oh, when this happens out of the blue from anybody, it means, hey, something may be up.
So you're basically saying like, hey, something's going down at the police office.
Right. Well,
police
I
station.
mean, I'm probably not even saying that. The message that I'm trying to send to everyone is, hey, right, it might be required that we get together as a team today. It's unclear what's happening, but there's enough stuff going on
Gotcha.
that I want to give
Yeah.
everybody the heads up that we might be in
to
business.
provide
chatter
some
about town.
useful-
Yeah.
To provide some useful context, right? You have had probably some like false alarms like this before, where like you thought something was up and then you all gathered together and then nothing huge came of it. But yeah, you are explicitly a team. You just haven't had a really major,
Gotcha.
event yet, right? And you probably still are a little bit splintered into your respective groups, with the people that you like and you spend more time with.
Right.
But I think sending out a group text would have been like in one of the club meetings that you had where you were all present, right? You would have been like, yeah, this is what we do if shit is happening.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll send out a text message to everybody saying that my book club is planning on having a bake sale, and I'd like everyone to think about what it is they're going to make to contribute to try and raise funds for it.
Okay. Let's go down the list how everybody responds to the text as it comes in. We'll start back at the top with Awkward, since we haven't talked to you in a bit. Awkward, you have finally kind of, settled yourself emotionally, gotten some caffeine in you, gotten sorted a little bit. You get this text though, which, feels maybe inevitable considering the dream you just had, right?
Yeah. I like to think we'll say he had his coffee in his room, or at
Uh-huh.
least his
Yeah,
first
just
step of many.
just sitting on your bed, hunched, like crawled up into the fetal position.
Yeah, and I like to think he's like on his way to the door, and as he reaches for the door, he feels the buzz, and
Mhm.
he checks his phone to see it, and he immediately walks back, just throws his body onto the bed, and just screams "fuck" again.
By the way, awkward, your phone is cracked all to shit.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you had to throw it at some concrete the other day. You didn't like it.
Yeah, and then he'll like
Yeah.
turn onto his back on the bed and just kind of like flail for 2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then get up and start to walk out, and then text back, let me guess, hospital bake sale.
Okay. In that moment, we've got so now we have, let's go with Harlow. You see both of those texts. What do you do?
Um, I make a note to pick up ingredients for focaccia.
Yeah.
And I like type that into my own phone, but I send the texts like I send it as a text to as a to-do list.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then I text when my shift gets off, probably in the next couple of hours. Um, and we'll say, and I will add that I can pick up anyone who hasn't already made it at that point.
Got it. So you don't bail on your shift right away. You
I
you
don't think.
probably could get away with it. I mean, it's not going to be great for them, but
Well, yeah, two
they're
people already
adults.
bailed.
Well, yeah, it's true. But like,
I
shift
do.
manager comes with some perks.
I think I wait till like when I say like when my shift ends, like I'm waiting for that drop where I know
The
I can
ending of
leave,
the
but
morning.
I'm not gonna leave kids high and
Yeah,
dry.
you probably got another hour before it starts to slow a little bit back down.
Given that we haven't gotten a text back with an answer about what's going on yet, I
Yeah,
think we
okay.
have time to kill, and so I'll let that simmer.
Uh let's go to Amiros. Your super high-end smartphone you only kind of understand how to use. It goes off with the volume on full blast, playing like dun, 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 dun.
This is the text message I get.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't know how to get it so that it doesn't do the whole ringer every time there's a text.
Yeah, I grab it, I hold it up, I say hello.
Yeah. Yeah, you realize there's text on the screen.
Yeah, hello, and then look and see. um, I text back immediately. I'm probably the first one to text back, and I say, I'll be there. Just let me know when and where. Then later in the day, maybe about a hour later, it's a picture of me, and I've purchased they're called mela macaronas, which are
Uh-huh.
like a traditional Greek dessert.
Yeah.
I've purchased these. I'm showing like, hey, I got something.
You're like in the middle of walking over towards the hospital. Okay. Let's go to Rob. You've just received a couple of texts while you were in class. I don't know if you were here to hear the texts.
I was not.
Okay. That is an issue. You heard, let's see if I can go through them in order. Deb sent a text that said essentially, I sent a text that implies to you that something is up in a way that your group is going to gather for. That says there is a bake sale at the hospital or something to that effect. Harlow chimed in to basically say, "Tell me when and where, and also this is what I'm going to be bringing." Amiros texted right away to say, I think to say okay, like to basically give a confirmation. And Awkward texted, "Let me guess at the," or sorry, it was there's a bake sale, and then Awkward said, "Let me guess at the hospital." So you've received this jumble of texts all at once as your phone has been sort of gently vibrating in your pocket.
And presumably since this class started at like 9:30, about how long had went by?
It's about 10. You have not been
Yeah.
here very long, Chief.
Wow. Okay. For- he knows he was late for the first one, so for this
Mhm.
one, he'll prob
Mhm. I
for
mean, but
lack of
there's something up right now, Rob. That's the
there's
thing.
there I know.
Yeah.
He's
What are you
like
gonna do?
he's like I'm late, but you can't pass up these opportunities.
Uh-huh.
And but he knows that since she had a recent conversation that if he does leave, he has to come back with evidence. That seems to be like the
Mm.
consensus is that there needs to be some form of evidence again.
Can
Um
I text the group chat that I'm just gonna pick Rob up?
Yeah.
Because I mean we're tight enough that I
Yeah,
could
you're
just
pretty
say,
close.
Rob, I'll be there in 15 or whatever. Or
um
I'll address it to Hawks specifically.
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, he's just gonna grab the pen, leave the pen and notepad, right? But he's gonna take that page with him as if like just fold it up
Mhm.
neatly, not crumble it. Gonna put it in his pack so that way the rest of the pages look normal. Like there's no more doodles left in the notepad, and
Mhm.
he's just gonna set it down in his chair, and he's gonna excuse himself and like throw up a little hand and go outside. No other forewarning. He is just saying excuse me and then walks
You've
outside.
left your notepad on the chair,
Yeah, there's nothing
and
else in it though. He took the
you
page that
walked
has the
out.
notes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um
You left the pen in the notepad.
Yep, he pulls out his phone, starts going over the text, and he's like, "Okay, so it was something going on." And then he sees that, and he's like, "Oh, okay. How far are you?" And then, as he's saying that, he's walking out to the front of the campus.
Yeah, just leaving it behind. You're just gone.
uh,
Real quick then, Cam, you're
mhm.
getting this like as you are getting out of your car at St. Sentence, right? You're getting this cascade of text messages. Omiros's baked good one hasn't come in yet. That'll come in a bit.
I thought Amiris was first, but either way, his response will be something clearly reading the subtext and just answering along the lines of uh, gauging interest at the hospital will let you know what people are after.
Okay.
Seeing if
So
they want cookies.
we will stick with Cam then for a second. You go walking in. Uh, you're over on currently you're on the research side, so you're gonna have to walk a ways to actually get to the what would be considered the hospital. Though it's occurring to you that you don't actually know which you're supposed to be going towards.
Yep.
Whether it's for the medical side or the research side, it was pretty vague actually. So if you're gonna start with somewhere, you'd start with the research
I
side.
figured I'd start with medical
That's fair. I
because
mean, the research buildings are going to be hard to get into, generally speaking, because they're all like door coded.
yeah. Also, if I'm getting hey, you need to go look at this call, like good
Hmm.
chance that it's because somebody is hurt.
Okay. So you walk up to. Do you just walk up to like the main desk,
Yep.
or? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. There is a very tired looking woman sitting behind the counter. She gets out one of those like things where she's gonna like rip off the little sticky thing and give it to you, and is like getting ready to write your name down, and is like, "Who are you here for?"
I will produce my badge very, very quickly, like just long
Mm-hmm.
enough for it to be recognized as a
She
badge, but not long enough to
blinks.
be read.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I understand you had a weird thing come in fairly recently. That's what I'm here for. I don't really have enough. Is there an officer here I can speak to?
Oh, yeah. Well, they've been in and out of here all day, actually. Well, since yesterday, actually.
Oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
getting involved. If you can just point me right at him, I will get out of your hair, and you can get back to
Okay.
whatever
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing.
It's in cardiac. It's on the 6th floor. You're gonna go down that hallway, then take the elevator, and then when you're up there, you'll make a right. It's in the cardiac
Down that
recovery.
hallway up
Yeah,
up to
you
the
should be
6th
seeing
floor,
other
take a right.
officers up
Yep.
there. Yeah.
All right. I'm sure I'll find him. Thank you very much.
Do you need can I have your name?
I just keep walking.
Yeah, she's got the little like sticky thing ripped off and just sort of holding it for a second. Okay. You follow the instructions. You get up there and you don't actually see any officers right away. But you do
There's a
see,
lot of awkward walking.
yeah, you do see this is the normal hospital functioning of a cardiac recovery unit, right? Is still continuing. Um, but you do see at the end of the hall what is clearly like the caution tape across one of the recovery rooms. It's down at the end of the hall, and you don't see any other officers around currently.
That looks like that is well. No, it's not really playing my song, but that's my spot.
Uh-huh.
I will just walk in through the tape.
Yeah. It looks like a regular recovery room. It's pretty small actually. Though it is a single, so there isn't like two people in this room, because it's on the corner. The bed is it looks like somebody was clearly sitting in it or laying in it, right? But there's nothing else immediately here to suggest anything happened in this room. Nothing that it just jumps out at you immediately.
No gory blood, no dead
Nope.
bodies, no nothing. Okay.
Nope. Yeah, in fact, you like look around for any of the telltale signs of like any kind of crime scene, right? And it literally just looks like they put caution tape over a normal room, as far as you can tell. It is currently lit by the sort of sun coming in, at this point, a little bit in your eyes, coming in from the window on one of the walls. Do you, I guess, how does Cam approach this, like canvassing? Does Cam even bother investigating, or do you just kind of like what's your approach here?
I mean, he will. It is technically his job. He investigated. He saw
Uh-huh.
the tape and came over. So that's step one done. He looked and saw that there was no blood, no body, no nothing crazy jumping out at him.
Would you like to investigate a mystery?
Yeah, he'll take the time to look around. It's not
Okay. Give me that roll.
it's not a major thing for him, but
Ooh, that's a failure.
sure.
Interesting. Well, congratulations, mark experience. This is the first time this happened. Now, I
Off
will
to a
remind you
great roll.
at this point, it behooves me to remind you that if you would like to automatically succeed at any point on a roll that you fail, or even a roll that you get a mixed success on, you may use a luck point. Luck points are a very limited resource, so you only want to use those for plot a lot of the times, or to soak when you are getting hit very
Yeah.
hard.
No, this failure feels pretty perfect. I feel like Cam
Yeah.
starts going through some of the like very obviously normal and not affected parts of this room. Like walks over to one of the beds, lifts up the top sheet that is flat against the mattress, clearly nothing under that. Lifts that up, nothing there, peeks behind the pillows, starts going through the drawers on the nightstand, just finds, empty space and
Uh-huh.
regular hospital stuff.
And
They
as a
they
result
maybe
of
contemplate stealing the grippy socks out of the bottom drawer.
uh-huh. As a result of your 6, per my purview as the keeper, I've done something, and you'll find out about it later. It's
I'm helping,
fun.
guys. I'm helping.
You're helping. Okay, so yeah, you reach a dead end. It looks like a fucking room.
And I'm glad the streak continues.
I mean, this is how you power level in this game. Failure just gets you strong.
Yep.
Sure. Or if you're me, failure
What's
gets
You just keep
remarkable is
rolling
you rolled.
failures.
What's remarkable is you rolled a 1 and a 6, and you would have been good except for the -1.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, yeah. What do you do now? So at this point, the other plates that are in the air is Harlow and Rob have a little bit before Harlow gets off shift. Probably only like another 30 minutes for them. Deb, you get to make a decision on whether you're going to go through with that Uber order because that's coming up pretty soon, or whether you're just going to call that off.
I am. How? Actually, here's the question that will be the determining factor. How long a trip is it? Like, if it's a relatively short trip, then I'll follow through with it. But if it's like an hour-long trip,
yeah, they're taking you. Well, it's still probably not an hour, but it's like 40 minutes. It's about to the opposite side of Beeman Bay proper, kind of out here.
what I'm going to do is the following. The first thing I'm going to do, although I think I know the answer to this already, is I'm going to ask my second question in relation to the special circumstances vehicles. Where did they go? Right.
Okay. Let's see how to. Actually, the way to answer this one is near as you can tell. When you go over to St. Setton's, what I'll tell you is you clock one of them.
Okay.
It's parked a little ways to the side, but it's parked in a place that cops tend to park.
Okay.
It's really close. It's kind of like an executive spot. But it's, like special parking, right? And they are parked like shit, but they are parked there. And the other two, you don't actually know. They're not here, and you don't have a bead on where they went.
Okay.
But that is significant because it means that they're somewhere you don't.
Gotcha.
Like, you would expect them to be here, right? And the fact that they are not here is something, right?
Gotcha.
Is a piece of information.
So here's how I'm going to deal with this ride that I'm not going to accept. I'm not just going to ditch it because I don't want my rating to go down like that. So I'm going to show up. I'm then going to engage the potential customer in a conversation designed to aggravate them, to get them to call me something obscene so that I can then reject it and file a complaint with Uber about the customer.
Give me a manipulate someone roll, a charm. And I think, again, this is still behind the vehicle, and so therefore driver you're still in your element here. You are the driver. Behind the wheel, you are powerful. God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we reference manipulate
Holy
someone,
shit.
they do it for the reason you gave them. You are trying to aggravate them, right?
Yeah.
But they're like, this one, I think there's no they'll tell you the minimum it would take for them to do it. The minimum is the situation you've set up, right?
Yeah.
You have rigged this against this person by using their reaction against them, and you get the desired effect. It's their fault.
Yeah, it's right. And I don't even care if they think it's. I mean, clearly they don't think it's their fault. I just need Uber to think it's their fault.
Yeah, Uber. This manipulate someone kind of applies to Uber as well, where you've rigged it, right? It is their fault.
Right.
You give them a bad review as a rider.
I'm off the hook. My rating's safe.
You're off the hook.
I can now.
Good.
Right. Yeah, I can now. I still don't really know what's going on, so I would like to try and position myself in a location where I can keep an eye on this special circumstances vehicle, right? Even if it's from a distance, right?
Yeah.
But also have some eyes on at least one of the main entrances to the hospital so that I can clock any of my teammates arriving.
Sure. Yeah.
And of course, if anybody asks, I'm an Uber driver. I'm waiting for my client.
Yeah, you got the little placard thing you put on put on thing. Easy. Amiros,
Oh.
you're currently walking. It's a pretty nice day, but you're currently walking over to the hospital, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing something else.
Yeah, I walk over.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're not quite there yet, right? It's a little bit longer of a walk, and unless you're running, are you like trying to haul ass over there, or are you just having a stroll?
No, I don't think I haul ass over
Yeah.
there. Like, I got to get to the hospital, and I will be there.
Yeah, you'll be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Just kind
I
of
got to
walking up
stop
the
and
main
get
road.
these desserts.
You do have to stop at the Greek bakery
Yeah.
to get the desserts. So that is probably why you're only like here at this point. you had to stop at your favorite Greek bakery. Cam, it's at this point. So Harlow is still working on the shift. Rob is now pacing in the parking lot. Cam, how do you respond to your dead end here?
I will simply text the group back and say, made it to the bake sale. No one here. I'll keep looking for customers. I'm just crossing all sorts of metaphors at this point.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get it. I text back. Wait, do I need to bring bread?
Does anybody respond?
Started to get really confused about whether or not I need to
n-
bake focaccia.
No, but in the front seat of a Toyota Sienna, about a block and a half from the entrance of the hospital, a middle-aged woman pinches the bridge of her nose and shakes her head. It's like, these fuckers do not understand what a code is.
Real quick, awkward. You're standing in a parking lot of this little quaint little inn, staring at the phone as these texts are going back and forth. What are you doing?
In no rush, trying to get to the hospital.
Yeah, do you call up an Uber
Yeah,
or
I
do you
would
have
call
a car?
him. No, he's too lazy to walk that far.
Let's say you probably have a bike, but
He's
that
probably
is
too
that's
lazy
pretty
for
far. Yeah.
that.
Deb, Deb,
Oh,
you do see the
I
Uber
see it
request
immediately
from
and click it as quickly as possible.
yeah, you've got it like dialed into where whenever any of them do, it seems like some of them haven't realized they can just ask you yet. So
Right.
awkward like tries to trigger an Uber drive, and you see Deb's face awkward in the like coming to pick you up.
When I see that message, I'll be like, God damn it.
So yeah, round trip for that is probably going to take about 30 minutes. Getting up there, grabbing awkward, and getting back.
Cool.
By the time then that you get back, Amiros, you are probably just now arriving in the hospital complex. Not sure yet of where to go.
Yeah,
Harlow
cool.
and Harlow, you're just getting off your shift. Rob has been pacing in the parking lot, smoking cigarettes for 20 minutes, waiting for Harlow. But Harlow, you've got your window here. It's about 10:35. Things are starting to slow down a little bit. Some of the classes are starting. It may pick back up later, a little bit for the lunch crowd, but you got a window here where you could get away.
Yeah, I do. I responsibly tell only one of them that I am leaving.
Right.
And-
Yeah, you tell one of them. I assume you're going to swing by and get Rob.
yes, yeah. And
Okay.
there's not a doubt in my mind that a lot of like whatever tools I typically need for these excursions belong in a bag locked in my trunk.
Yeah. You got your like 6 fanny packs.
Oh yeah. Every time I have disposable income, I get to add another
Another
go bag to my collection.
you sort of got like a utility belt made out of fanny packs where it just keeps
That's what the
just keeps
overalls are
yeah.
for, Cody.
Okay, good. Yeah. The overalls are full. And then where
Yeah,
do things go?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, you've got Rob.
Yeah,
Where we're at
I
now.
pick him up and I say, "You put that thing out before you get in."
Yeah. Drops on the ground, starts stomping it out.
And then when you sit down,
Harlow,
I pull from my pocket a doobie and hand it to you. It is not lit, but it is rolled for you.
Harlow, you note Rob, like you could see the route Rob must have been walking back and forth because you could see like 6 cigarette butts Like at the end of each of the terminuses of like walk, turn around, there's just flick it into a bush or like flick it off to the side. Okay, at this point, Amiros, you are arriving right around the time that Deb. Actually, we'll role play real quick. Deb, you park to pick up Awkward.
Mhm.
Awkward, you see the Sienna, and you see Deb. You knew Deb was coming, but it might still be novel to see Deb and the Sienna. The Sienna is a majestic vehicle, by all accounts.
The rear passenger side door slides open automatically.
Yeah.
Right? And I lean back in my seat and gesture. Come on, hon.
Yeah, no, he'll just get in and like buckle up and then like throw his head back and just close his eyes and just
Awkward. What do you have with you? Do you like bring anything along, or are you just dressed with your like hoodie and your and your jeans?
I have a fanny pack at all times and it's
Got
always
it.
like jingling with weird shit in it.
Good, good, good,
So
good.
that's on the front end of him and then of course he's got his sunglasses on.
Uh-huh. See, you get in and wordlessly put your head back.
Yeah.
And just sigh.
I have two questions for Awkward. What sort of music does Awkward listen to?
What a great question. I guess it kind of depends on his mood. His mood right now would be indie.
Okay. Deb will definitely put indie music on. And then the second question is, like, do you have headphones? Are you listening to your own music? And what Deb does is like immaterial to what you're actually listening to.
Oh no, he doesn't have
Okay.
headphones on.
Great. So yeah, you get in the car. Deb does her best to put on music that you will enjoy and make you comfortable, and can tell by your facial expressions that you are not in the mood to talk. So it will be a quiet trip back to the hospital.
Well, I would say like once you start playing that music, he would kind of like lift up his head so it's not leaning back anymore. Still wordless, but then eventually like you can see that he's very much enjoying the music and then looks out to the left out of the window as you're driving.
Yeah, Deb just sighs and keeps driving.
The two of you, Deb, you actually you see it first because Awkward is looking out to the left. You are walking past Amiros holding some kind of baked good, or sorry, you're driving past as Amiros is just walking along the side of the road holding some kind of baked good. It's pretty easy to see Amiros from a distance off because nobody else dresses like that.
Right.
How tall is Amiros, by the way?
Yeah, I feel like just slightly tall. So I feel like
6'1" or 6'2"?
I think like slightly taller, like maybe 6'5". Like it's
Got it,
like
yeah.
noticeable, but not like, oh god, this is like a giant.
So yeah, you see Amiros doesn't seem to notice you yet, right? Because you like Amiros has walked you forward and you're driving by, holding a baked.
I mean, I will stop. I'll lean over so that I can open up the passenger side door. Right. And I'll just wait
on
until
the
he
right.
Until he sort of walks up. Just go, come on, sweetheart.
Damn, good timing as always. Good to see you. Of course I hop in. Awkward.
He immediately like sits up straight and is on edge and just kind of like drops his head as like a hello, and then like noticeably is keeping his gaze away from you.
I think my gaze lingers on you for a bit and then just turns to Deb. How's the morning going? Good fares.
So far, so good. We'll see what this excitement's all about. Hey, why don't you offer one of those to Awkward? Looks like he could use a bite to eat.
I pull the lid off a tray of they're like little dough balls.
Yeah.
Mellow macarona.
He kind of uneasily like begins to like bring his hand forward, but then pulls it back for a second. Just stares and then grabs one. Brings it close to his face. He sniffs it. He looks at it as he twists around in his hand, and then he opens up his fanny pack and he puts it inside.
Yeah, normal behavior. Yeah,
Well,
door closes. Amiris
yeah.
is settled in.
To the hospital then.
Hmm.
Real quick, Cam, while you've now been waiting,
Mhm.
you still haven't seen any police presence. Which I guess makes sense because looking back into the room, doesn't look like shit all happened in there, right?
Yeah, I think after probably a half hour or so, I would go back out to the front desk.
Yeah, which I think actually corresponds to about when I guess Deb, Awkward, and Amiros. What's your approach when you get here, like to the hospital? Have you coordinated with Cam to like figure that out, or do you just head in?
I follow Deb's lead
Yeah.
on this.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, Deb walks in confidently, like
Yeah.
this is exactly where she's supposed to be, and
Mhm.
is trying to do everything possible to exude, like interfere with me at your peril, sort of
As
vibes.
the three of you are walking in, you catch Cam, which then I'll ask Cam. As you're kind of standing here waiting in the lobby, right? Or
Oh,
like
I
what
was
it
gonna ask the front desk person I
got it.
spoke to. So, you said you saw them coming in and out earlier, but I don't see
Oh,
nobody up there. Could you, do you know where did they go somewhere?
mm, I don't know, maybe.
But you definitely saw them go. Hey, everybody. Okay,
Yeah, I
I'll be
mean,
right back.
okay. You're gonna get a sticker next time, or do you need your parking validated? No, no. As the like the sliding doors close behind Cam as Cam is walking out to meet the three of you.
Morning, Yawns. How's everybody doing? How's the morning going? I went upstairs. There's a room that's been taped off, but they ain't nothing in there. It's just a clean room. Whatever happened, it done happened, and it done been cleaned up. So I don't expect we're gonna find much up there right now.
But it's still taped off?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You're not there yet, Dawson.
Oh, sorry. You said three of us, and I got
You're
You're
still
confused.
smoking a doobie in the car with
Okay.
Harlow. You're on the way though.
Okay. Had a great time.
Currently, we are at Deb, Awkward, Amiros, and Cam.
Okay, stupid question. Were the lights on or off? I don't know. It's just a hunch.
Lights were off, Cam, but
Okay.
it's really sunny in there, right? So like, they wouldn't turn lights on during the day.
Yeah, no, there was no one in there, so there were no lights on. That's probably why. Well, now, I mean, I definitely looked around. I was definitely smart enough to turn on the lights while I was looking, but there was nothing up there.
It's a bit disappointing, but
Mm.
it'd be good to see everyone nonetheless.
And
Yeah, I think we may be able to find someone that because the attendant here, um, yeah, she said that there were police in and out, and I think if we can wait and find one of them, then perhaps we can figure out what it is that's going on, what it is that's got that tape put up.
well, there is at least one special circumstances vehicle around the corner.
Oh, oh, that would have been useful.
Harlow and Rob, you are pulling by, like you swing by the main entrance and see the group of them standing there, right? You still have to park, but you have a moment where you could like roll the window down or like Rob could hop out, right? Like you
I
see them
roll down the
standing around
window
talking.
and just shout, did they keep you out?"
What? No,
Uh,
the no.
All right, I'll just find parking and then we'll catch up.
Yeah, you go to the main parking garage. The first thing you notice is there are a lot of pissed off people probably like 5 or 6 who are standing next to their vehicles. You're not sure what the deal is, but you do find a parking spot. Takes you a bit because almost all of them are full. We'll get to that, back to that in a second. What does the group standing in front of the hospital, having seen Harlow and Rob, as they roll down the window, smoke just billows out as they take off to go get parking.
I wonder aloud if I should have gotten more pastry.
Well,
I imagine we'll wait for them to get here.
yeah.
Mhm.
Perhaps we should offer some of that pastry to the nice officers in that special circumstances vehicle.
Back to Harlow and Rob. You pull up. Again, you've seen about 4 or 5 people who are standing like now they're all on phones, right? Just looking at their
Mhm.
car. They don't seem to have paid much attention to each other, but they clearly saw something going on with their car and then got on their phones. You're getting out of the car again. The residual like hot box sort of dissipating. It's not particularly egregious, but
I would hope to God not. I had to
yeah,
drive.
no. It's mostly like just the amount that Rob as a practice smoker can billow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get out. Do you just head right into the hospital?
I do a quick pat down chest pockets, side pockets, and then I go into the back and grab a bag, and then I
Yep.
go up.
Yeah, you got your little. Is it like a? So your bag is like a rucksack or like a sling bag?
It's definitely like a camping like backpack, but it is a
Got it. Yeah,
small scale one. Like
got it.
this is not a 50-pound weight. This is
It's
20 pounds of carried gear.
it's what I call also like a dad backpack, where it's like
Fuck
it's
you
the
and
one that
yes.
yeah, it's the one I know you have somewhere that they got like 50 fucking things in it. It's got
I
all the
have
compartments. It's
You
incredible.
have different bags for different volumes of
Uh-huh.
day that you
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be out
yeah.
of the house.
Obviously. So yeah, you grab your bag. Rob, I mean, you got your personage. You do have your usual like shit on you, I assume.
I don't need a
Probably in like
bag.
your book bag or something. Okay, you got your camera just held in hand, or do you got it like in a sling around your neck?
It's like sling little small. Not wouldn't say a fanny pack, but like uh, yeah, he just keeps them. He keeps one. No, that's right. Trench coats can come with pockets like that. Yeah,
That's right.
no, he's got them inside.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you got like right side, there's a big bulky camera that's very visible. The other one is much smaller and harder to see. Yeah, do you two just head into the hospital?
Yeah, with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, after a moment, you both pass by, getting to the stairs, you pass by one of the people who you overhear them on the phone say, "Yeah, it just won't start." And you catch that as you enter into the stairwell, go down a couple flights, enter out onto the kind of main campus area.
I mean, he's not a car
Ah,
guy. He's like, that's tragic. I really
uh,
hope it does.
interesting. Okay, okay, Harlow. As you glance over past them, right? Um, let's see. Uh, in this particular case, what I will say is this would qualify as a weird phenomenon.
Mhm.
Something is up with the engine.
Of the car that they're
Yep.
looking at.
Yeah, to you, I don't know exactly how your vision interprets this,
Hmm.
but like it's kind of just for a moment you almost like smell it, right?
Yeah.
You just sort of know. It,
Yep.
it's something's up with the engine. It's some kind of weird phenomenon.
Oh,
The
okay.
person is just a person. Uh,
Okay.
yeah. So you catch just that brief glance as you like look to your left over their shoulder as you're at this point like about to go down the stairs, right? As you
Hmm.
see that.
This sounds a little bit strange, but if I kind of like draw my attention vaguely away from that and try to like hot cold, you know, with like how you can do that with your nose or your ears, like you kind of turn your head around to try to like zero in on the sense a little bit. If I like pull my attention away from the car, do I still feel pulled to the car, or do I feel like the odd phenomenon is present pervasively? Does that make sense?
I think okay, at this point I think I will ask for an investigate a mystery. As
Definitely.
you're trying to utilize this, and you will have a +1 to this because of the Occam's broadsword move. That is the use of your +1 forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm double checking how I need to, if I have a weird thing about rolling those.
It might just ask you to manually, or hold on, no, that's just another day. This one is just a sharp
Yep.
roll with a +1 to it, so you can add the 1 modifier.
Okay. +1. Oh, woo.
Hold on, no. It
That can't be right.
You
it
put
did
a
a
++.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it looks like you have a 9.
Yeah, you have a 9, so that's a mixed success.
Mhm.
So you get to ask me one of the questions. It's hold 1, so theoretically you could ask it like when you were leaving here, right?
Mhm.
Or you can ask me the question right now from that investigate a mystery list.
Gotcha. Um. Ba, 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 ba. Let's go soft and easy. What happened here?
You try to vibe out the hot and cold, and your eyes kind of sweep, and you realize you were focused on that one car, but you realize it's all the cars in the row. And so your hot and cold thing kind of goes haywire for a second, right? Because you realize it's also all the other cars in the
Mhm.
row. Uh, and your question was what happened here, right?
Yes.
You get the sense that what you're seeing here is all of the engines have had some kind of simultaneous catastrophic failure that was mediated by some like weird phenomenon.
Mhm. Um. I didn't park in that row of cars.
You did not. But you kind of looking around, you realize it's all of the cars that you can see in on this particular level. You
Oh,
could see
okay.
where you're parked over there, and
Mhm.
you realize it's just all the cars.
Mhm.
They all feel the same, they all smell the same.
Okay. Uh. Okay. So I'll turn to Rob. And I think I will keep walking because I don't. Harlow doesn't know enough about cars to help this person who is having supernatural
Yeah.
car trouble. So instead, he'll do the second best thing, which is refer this information to Rob as we're coming up, and uh, as we meet with everyone else, I'll say something's shaking up the whole space. Every car on the floor of the parking garage we were at is dead in the water. Don't know why. Think it was a thing that happened. Um, I hope related to this.
Cam, they came
He
from the direction that you parked in.
Okay.
he questions it. What do you mean dead in the water?
Well, I guess dead on the concrete. Just they're something about him's not working. I don't know if that'd be electric or mechanic. But something occurred that shorted all of them. None of them are going to move probably until they have some real help or are uncursed. Probably they aren't cursed. I don't. It seems like a waste of energy to curse a lot of cars.
How many cars?
Like 15.
Well, looks like something is happening here. That's far too many for a coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidence.
Well, if that's the case,
Definitely a phenomenon.
it's electric in nature. I can tell.
Well,
Mellow.
that'll probably help. You should probably go tell that person they need a jump then.
I say mellow and then offer the desserts to everyone.
Fuck yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, Cam, you're thinking about it. That they definitely saw them come out of the garage that you parked your car in.
Oh, well, no, I mean, oh no, I will go back to my car.
Yeah.
I'll follow
You
after. I'll make sure the car's okay, even though it's probably not.
yeah. Cam parked on a different floor. Harlow, all the cars on this one feel the same, including Cam's car. Who
I'll
else
bring
goes
my
with
car
Cam
up
and
and we'll
Harlow,
jump
by
you
the way?
later.
I mean, might as well. We came here to investigate, and if everybody's car is just not gonna work, might as well all. This seems like a new investigation on top of what we thought.
What was that, Deb?
Yeah, I think Deb's instinct is that if we're going to investigate, we can't have all these people around here. So I'm going to approach the group and pitch to them that if all of these cars have all lost their electrical power, clearly something went wrong with the garage, and that's the hospital's fault, and we all need to go march down to hospital administration. And
You're rounding up a Karen patrol?
yeah.
Give me a manipulate someone.
Okay.
Or yeah, so let's see. Manipulate someone. So your pitch to them is you all need to round up and go march on the hospital administration, right? And like something clearly happened here. What they want from you to show you mean it, right? Is they probably, at least the ones on the floor, enough of them in groups realize that like you weren't at one of these vehicles, as there's a scattered set of people, and the questions they have for you are just like, well, who are you, right?
Okay.
They want to know who you are, and like what your they get the sense that you aren't that you weren't on one of these floors necessarily, so they want to know like what's the deal, right? Like, what's your angle?
Oh, I'm here because my friend, he parked right up there and his car's affected too.
Okay.
I don't understand. I got here late.
Yeah, that is enough to round up almost all of them. There's like one stubborn asshole left in the corner who's just sitting on his hood with his head in his hands.
Yeah.
Having the worst goddamn day. I mean, anybody trying to leave a hospital at 9 a.m. is not having probably a
Right.
good time. Yeah.
Right. That's seldom great.
Yeah, you got a lot of pissed off fucking people here.
Right.
Yeah, you got a little like mob to go. You probably got about 12 people marching off. All the rest of the group sees you do this Karen voodoo as you like sweep them all up into the mob and carry off.
She has such a way with words and people.
Gary.
All right. Okay. Well, we know it had to happen on this floor, and it had to happen sometime. I mean, it must be keep happening because I just parked here maybe a couple hours ago, and my car was working this morning.
And it's not
All right.
working now?
It's not working now, but that means whatever happened is still happening. Maybe if we look around a little bit, we can find something.
Cam, you try to turn it. There's like, it's not like it's not starting. There's nothing, right? It's the click of dead battery.
Yeah.
Can I try sensitive and open my brain up to the psychic environment while I touch his car?
Sure you can.
Hooray.
Roll me that roll. I gotta pull up sensitive and remind myself what it does.
Opening up my brain to the psychic environment.
Indeed.
Hey,
Okay, a 9. You gain a hazy impression about something important. So the hazy impression you get as you're looking at, you stare at Cam's car. This feels like a byproduct of something. You're not sure why your brain jumped to there. And when I say a byproduct of something, of some kind of entity,
okay.
not the primary thing that it did, but a byproduct, accidental byproduct potentially. Accidental feels right to you. And that the continued problems that it's having is some secondary effect of that. There's an active ongoing effect that is keeping this engine dead.
Well, I don't know if it's any consolation, but it wasn't intentional.
I think that helps.
Yeah, it actually kind of does.
So
There's also a chance something still might be nearby.
Okay, so we still spread out, but we spread out in pairs.
Do we want to be looking in the parking garage or in the hospital where the initial accident took place?
Well, the lights in there work, so that's
Yeah.
Is there somewhere the lights aren't working?
here.
Fair.
I mean, as far as you know, maybe the lights are working in a parking garage, but like, do you know where to go to turn on the lights in a parking garage?
I was referencing his car.
Yeah. Like, you look up overhead, right? Parking garages have lights in them, but you realize you don't really know how to turn them on or off. Like, where the switch is for that.
We could try to, I mean, Aki, you're saying it's like feeling like it's stifled, like muffled, or is it just like that there's just energy not occurring? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, you
No,
don't.
it's not that clear. It's just that this is occurring because of something, due to something, but not why. No, that doesn't make sense.
I mean that made absolute sense. That means that either a thing is suppressing the power in the building is currently in the building, or that it is still in the hospital and having a weird side effect.
Well, let's make use of the gift we're given. There's less people about in the garage. Why don't we just give it a once over, see if anything's here? If not, then. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I mean, you said the hospital was. There wasn't anything there, so hopefully we find something here.
Hell yeah! I'll unzip my bag.
Deb, real quick, as
Yeah.
you are walking into the main lobby with your cadre in tow, you are headed up to, you're about to open your mouth to talk to the at this point looking incredibly beleaguered without really knowing what's about to happen. Just any group of people like this all looking very annoyed is
Right.
immediately triggering the like customer service, like, oh fuck no. You catch to your right a police officer getting off the elevator, glances around and like sees your group. They look really tired. They're sort of a younger guy.
Perfect.
And they just start walking like look like
No,
they're on an intercept path to get past you.
no. You can't sneak by us. We have questions, and you need to provide the answers. We pay your salary.
You, in a Karen fashion, scope the badge, the name on the badge and the number, right?
Yeah.
This guy, Officer Davies,
Okay.
he is younger, probably only like 24, 25.
Uh-huh.
He's got really blonde hair, looks kind of still has a little bit of a baby face.
Okay.
Just doesn't you don't you haven't seen him on the beat. He's not one of the people to keep track of on your list as a
Right.
serious person.
Mhm.
So you're not really sure who exactly he is. But you see his eyes go wide like a startled deer as he's like, uh, uh, uh,
That is the
uh,
appropriate look, hon.
yes,
You need to
can
You
I
need to explain to us what's going on.
help you?
Yes, you need to explain to us what's going on.
What do you mean? What do you mean, ma'am?
Do not joust with me. Don't make me call Detective Morris.
I, I, what can I do to help to assist all of you in your day?
You can tell us.
There is like 7 people start talking at once.
Yeah, great, perfect. The
Yeah.
exact commotion I'm looking for.
Uh-huh. In this cacophony, like, what are you trying to do, Deb?
While they all descend on this, are there multiple officers here?
No, there's just the one guy.
Okay.
He got
While
off
they
an
all,
elevator.
right.
Yeah.
While they all descend on this officer, right? I'm going to sort of step aside and grab the like hospital administrator type individual who we were approaching,
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
like, "Look, hon, I'm just barely keeping a lid on this situation over here. Do you see how crazy things are getting?
mean?
Maybe you can help me out and tell me what's going on so that we can get some answers and get these crazy Karens out of here."
Please tell me what you mean.
What I mean is half the cars in your parking lot are dead. You got police.
Fuck. What?
You got police wandering around here from the special circumstances unit.
The what?
Oh, so you're
Sorry.
gonna be that way about it, ladies.
It's Officer David. No, it's Officer. Hold on. I'll call. Okay, I'll call my boss. Is that what you want?
Great. Yeah, I'd like to talk to someone who knows what's going on.
Okay. Give me a manipulate someone roll.
Yeah.
Fucking leaning on this move.
Yeah.
Just go off. Okay, you let's see. The specific language is yeah, reason you gave them I think in this one. Yeah, they don't want this to be their problem anymore. You've essentially offered to make this not be their problem anymore.
Yes.
We'll have you go over to the desk and we'll cover this conversation in a second. Back to the parking garage, the Scooby Squad over here. What are you guys doing as you're...
I have a quick question. Is Officer Davies like someone important or someone that's likely investigating what's going on?
You don't know about Officer Davies yet.
Okay.
Only Deb has caught Officer Davies coming off the elevator inside of the building. The rest of you are outside, a little ways away in a parking garage, right?
Oh, we haven't seen him at all. Oh, okay.
No, not yet. He did not get to make it out of the building before Deb sicked a pack of angry,
Assaulted him.
yeah, beleaguered hospital leavers. So yeah, what do you all do in the parking garage?
Oh,
I think I think Omaros is right. I think we spread out. We take a look now that Deb's got everybody distracted, and we see if there's anything that points to why everything is suddenly not working, and then maybe that can point us into another direction.
If everybody agrees to this line of inquiry, I think that will trigger everybody to give me an investigative mystery, unless you are trying to do something else.
Can
at this point.
I was gonna try to help Cam out if they were going to
Oh,
investigate.
see, I was also going to help out.
Oh, you and I both have the
Okay.
same play.
You
Well,
can't.
maybe me
I
and Rob
did-
take point.
I
on
did
it.
suggest we break into groups
Yes.
for a reason.
And to be clear from help out, you can't. Two people can't add a +2 to someone with
Yeah.
two different help outs.
does
It's
not
only
stack.
one. Yeah, it doesn't. Things like that don't stack.
That makes
We
sense.
can split, so like Rob and I go with Amaros and Cam, and split that way.
Does awkward just get like?
Awkward can go wherever the hell.
Yeah,
wants to go.
awkward's just vibing. Awkward's standing, staring at the ceiling slightly, just trying to feel stuff out.
I can investigate a mystery. I'm sharp.
You do. I'm saying just you didn't get paired up with anyone.
Well,
I
well, I
know.
mean, I'll help awkward out.
Got it. Okay, so we've got Cam
Instead of
helping out
Rob out.
awkward, right?
Mhm.
And Rob, you are.
I'll
currently
help.
by your-
I'll help Rob.
Okay, so it's Harlow who's by himself. So
Hey.
let's do the help out rolls first, because they will dictate what happens next.
Help out.
Okay.
Help
Cool.
out.
This is for awkward. Hey,
Yay.
Damn.
+1
Good.
with no drawback.
Yo!
Jesus Christ.
We're good at this, Dad. We're good at it.
You both get. That's 2 + 1s. Okay, so in order, let's do first. We'll do Harlow's because this is unmodified, right?
Yep.
we'll do yours
Reviewing all
first.
of my options, unmodified.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Okay. Now
God,
give
we're
me
on fucking fire tonight.
give
Love
me
this game.
now awkward with a +1.
I hate that you said we're on fire because I feel like this is gonna fuck up now.
Nah, you got a +1. It's fine.
You got a +1? Oh, you
That's
do.
what the
That
plus
Oh,
one
it's
is.
in.
okay.
Yes. Join
well,
me in the
mark
marketing
experience.
experience.
Experience. Hey. Damn.
This is
Ooh, I'm
just a
so close.
These are just sharp rolls that we make when we get there, right? It's not the investigate.
It's investigate a mystery.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do either one.
You can do either one. They're the same stat unless there's modifiers to it. Hold on, I got to figure out what happens because of that 6. Go ahead and roll me to see if something else happens.
Yeah. I also can I take you on a journey for my help out?
Hold on, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me that roll there, Rob.
And you have a
With
plus one for
+1.
me.
+1, yeah.
Investigate a mystery. Roll.
Come on. Show these
Sharp.
guys what the crypto does.
Yeah, hell yeah. Get him.
Oh, hold on, my game. There we go. Hit a wrong button.
Hey.
Okay.
So awkward will cover you first.
Okay. I like to think that I'm too distracted by the love of my life trying to help me out, and I'm trying to act normal.
You, because of the sensitive thing earlier, right? You opened up a little tiny tap of power.
Mhm.
Because of the failure for this one,
Okay.
on this one, I'm gonna ask. I'd like you to turn and just throw your phone off the edge of the parking garage.
How many flights up are we?
About 3. I'd like you to just throw your phone. Would you throw your phone for me? You feel that nausea as your eyes kind of swim for a second, and you realize you're holding your phone in your hand, and
Yeah.
you just gotta throw your phone. You throw your phone.
I throw my phone and then I try to act as if it didn't happen as soon as
Okay.
Cam walks
Write
in.
down that you are on the one hand without a cell phone currently,
Oh, fucking great.
but you did what I asked, which means you mark another experience.
Hey, that takes me to 5.
Yeah, I hurt ya. I took away your phone. You do not currently have a phone, but you do get experience because you did what I asked for, which is for everybody else, I leaned on something called the dark side. and I required Awkward to do something in accordance with one of his tags. So he
Nice.
did it. He gets an experience because he was a good sport and he played along, but he does not currently have a cell phone.
I feel like there's another
And
side of that where Awkward can just be like, "No, God, I'm not doing that. Have
and
a good
very
day."
he
There
can.
is.
He can indeed, yes. So Awkward does not have a cell phone potentially for the rest of this case. We will see. But for the moment, Awkward turned. You saw who was helping Awkward? Was it a
Me.
Cam.
yeah, Cam, you watch Awkward like kind of walking around looking and then pauses, gets very, very still, and just whips the phone off the parking garage. Like out over a car off the ledge.
I think Cam's reaction is something along the lines of, "Are you okay? Did you see something? Were you chasing something off? What happened?"
No, phones are bad, and we survived without them before, so why not now?
If you would like to get an improvement during this and you want to like just throw it in there, feel free to do so. I'm okay with people throwing
Mid-session.
them on in media. Yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
cool. I know what I
as
want.
long as it's if you go for a big one with a real big swing, we might have to wait, right? If you're doing something that completely changes the fabric of like, I don't know, suddenly you have a new house kind of shit. You might have to wait for that. But if it's like a stat or it's a move or something that you just get, that's okay. This is for everyone if you happen to level up in media res, right?
Once we resolve everyone else's mystery, I have another thing I want to do.
Okay, cool. So now we will go in order. We were talking about Amiros's help out, right? You wanted to flavor Amiros's help out, Sean.
Oh yeah. I think Rob and I, right, were, moving about the parking garage, right? We have our floor we're working on. I feel like Rob's telling me about, all right, so you're saying the reason people can't get pictures of Bigfoot is because they're not very photogenic. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
We're just talking about cryptos.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally, you'll get like the occasional peek and snoop in of like, "So, are you technically a cryptoid? Can I research you eventually?
Like,
How does this work?"
I guess you're kind of right in a way.
He's like, "Okay, kinda, right? I'm kinda. You don't die. You are literally living forever."
Well, I mean, does that fit the definition of a crypto?
I think cryptoid is anything non-conformative, for lack of better definition. It's just something that nobody's really used to, and this definitely fits that. Considering I don't think any other human can live forever,
Well,
as you do.
no human can.
Yeah, so I think it would qualify. You may be your own special category.
Hmm.
Unique. Nobody else like you.
As we're like talking and kind of getting a feel for the space, I have the tray of what's left of the desserts, just a few, pop one in my mouth, and there's like right, like the slow zoom in on a wide angle lens, like a bowed
Uh-huh.
out image, and like
Yeah.
whispers, right, the tone and the light goes down a bit,
Uh-huh.
and like these whispers start like coming in as the camera moves closer. They seem to sound like they're coming from all around. A bit of a smoke kind of lightly fills the space, and I like there's the dessert tastes sick. And as I look down at the tray, it's just all rotted and fetid, covered in
Mhm.
mold. And the whispers grow louder, and I make a uh, uh, like pinching my fingers and like making a pulling motion with them, and it close up on the bag as it tightens, and then like
Mhm.
all the whispers like disappear as well. The tray looks fine, but I just kind of like hand it
Yeah.
forcefully to Rob.
For just a split second, we see through Amiros's eyes. We see the like the sort of room collapsing on you for a second. And we snap back. Everything's normal. You're handing a plate over to Rob.
Yeah. And I hand him the tray and just say, "Hey, I think there's something right here. Do you feel it? The air feels different."
Let's do Rob's. We'll do Rob's first if Harlow's okay with that. Uh,
Mm.
you get to ask me one question from the investigate a mystery list.
Ooh, 1 second.
You also get a hold, so potentially you could hold and wait for. This is a kind of a thing where sometimes if multiple people are investigating, you can build off of each other's answers as you speak to each other. And hold means that you can like wait and ask your question in response to information from somebody else if you want
I
to.
may do that one. I may just
Okay,
hold it because I have the question that I want, but I want to see like what
got it.
the clarity of it is.
So we'll go to Harlow then, asking me 2 questions.
Okay. And before I ask my 2 questions, I guess I've got a play question for you, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when you're doing Monster of the Week, if at Investigate a Mystery at this point, if I were to ask what sort of creature is it, does my success carry that success into discovery, or do I have to have found evidence prior to answer some of those more complex questions, or I guess more
Um,
defining questions?
I think it's a question of specificity.
Uh-huh.
You could potentially ask me for what sort of creature, and
Yeah.
my answer would be gilded by what you could potentially get out of this area, right? Or the
Right.
context. So it
Right.
might not be it is this thing, here's the name. It might be a sort of vague sense of what kind of thing it is,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? That's
Yep.
this is a very good question for investigative mystery because we're working on like multiple levels of meta shit here, right? Where like theoretically you could skip the line and try to jump right towards like what is it? What sort of creature is it, right? And potentially if you ask that later when you're looking right at it or something, I might just answer the question, right? Because then you have enough context.
Mhm.
Or you're reading a book and you find the answer, right? But for this moment, if you ask me what sort of creature it is, we would probably lean heavily into sort, right? What
Yes.
category of creature?
Perfect.
Yes, if that answers your question.
That is exactly not only the answer I was hoping for, but the answer to the question.
Okay.
In that case, my first question is going to be, what sort of creature is it?
Okay. What I can give you for what sort of creature did this thing here. Uh I can tell you it is what sort is it? I'll give you some characteristics, some loose characteristics. Number one, it doesn't feel like there's a guiding intelligence. So I would not call it an intelligent creature particularly, right?
Okay.
Um, Number two, I would say this is some form of lesser spirit or something.
Okay.
Whatever did this is it feels, although it did a lot here, it feels somehow lesser to you. Lesser in kind of like the taxonomy of powers, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Scope of like ghosts going from rank will-o-wisp to wraith. Like
Yes.
right
Yes.
on a
It
spectrum.
feels very uh it doesn't feel particularly intelligent and it doesn't feel particularly powerful.
Hmm. Okay. And with my I get another, is that correct?
Uh-huh. You can either
Okay.
hold it and then Rob can build off of that one and you can build you two of you can kind of if you're especially if you're recounting the things you're seeing out loud, right?
Uh-huh.
Rob could interrupt you to trigger his investigative mystery question based off of the spot he's looking at with Amiros, right? If you're like calling out observations in the parking garage.
I guess what sort of observations might I be able to pull? Am I finding any like physical traces that I can use to tell people evidence that I'm finding that it's a I think we have
Let me
we have a little ghost.
let me phrase it. How are you investigating here? Are you just
Yeah,
walking
yeah.
around looking? Are you opening up
Um,
an engine? What's the move here, like context wise?
I think I am starting by walking around first and like audibly sniffing like every like 30 seconds.
Hmm.
Um, but while I am doing so, I am actually like rooting around in my bag for the occasional tool. Like I'm looking for a hag stone to effectively like quote unquote amplify my ability to perceive trace, like spectral trace if we were talking about ghosts or like fey magic. I don't have words for
Yeah.
these powers are, but magic as I see it.
Uh-huh.
Um, uh, I think that's how I'm starting, and I think I'll also like as soon as I start to pick up that there is active like trace in some capacity, I'm going to start potentially doing magic,
Yeah,
maybe.
so to feed into your earlier thing, you have now two pieces of information. One is that a creature of some kind did this.
Hmm.
However, when you looked at the engine, you saw a phenomenon, right? You
Hmm.
That's what you saw with your Occam's broadsword. So those are the two pieces of information you currently have. It's a creature, it's some kind of lesser non-intelligent thing. And whatever's happening with the engines currently is some sort of ongoing phenomenon.
Okay. Then I'll call out. I think we're dealing with like a small specter ghost thing, spirit. It doesn't seem heavily present, I think, but I think it may be doing something active to the engines.
Okay. Rob, does that trigger your investigate a mystery?
It makes me change it. So now,
Okay.
because my
Hmm.
original question was, what is being concealed, but
Got
now
it.
it's where would it have gone? Because if it's here in the hospital parking lot, his train of path is okay. So if that's the case, but when we were talking to I can't remember characters' names at the moment. Doug's character's name. I keep saying Harlow in my head, and then awkward. There it is. When we're talking to awkward, awkward has said that it doesn't seem malicious. That that
Okay.
it's not happening that way.
So
So
I didn't say malicious. I said intentional.
sorry, that
intentional.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I'll give you then, where did it go, Rob?
Hmm.
You pause in this moment as Amiris like holds a hand up, right? And from your vantage point, you realize you're standing, in parking garages, you walk and then you reach an end, right? And then there's usually a turn. And that's how you loop around, right? You're standing looking off down the street, actually the street to the north.
Hmm.
Um, and you, as you're looking off, you have like you see like what's clearly because this is a hospital area, right? So people are parked on the street all over the place.
Hmm.
But you walk up to the edge, uh, heeding kind of this moment as you're kind of following that thread of like a hunch kind of thing, right? You're like, huh. And you look down and you can see uh, a line of cars stretching off into the distance. And you don't know if anything's wrong with them currently, but you realize like where did it go is if whatever it does involves a car, then if it's going away and it has to do with cars, it's going to follow a line of cars. So you realize like the most line of cars that there is from what you could see from where you currently are is headed off to the north. Does that make sense for where did it go?
Yeah,
Is
now he's just more of questioning like why would a specter his original train of thought is that
uh-huh.
it was around the hospital. He's like, so
Yeah.
if a specter decides that it would say decides, but wants to leave, but now it wants to follow cars of all things? Like it doesn't want to be in the spot that it passed in, possibly?
Hmm. So what all do you relay to everyone else as you're like processing this information?
He's well, okay. So the parking garages are just full of all of these cars that don't work.
Uh-huh.
Still don't know how to like process that. I
Yep.
don't know cars. But for I think it's just jumping car to car, I guess you could say. It's and he like directs over to that line of cars that you had said. And he's like, I think it's following those just
While you're
further
saying this,
down.
Rob, you see somebody walking up to their car, and like they clearly like go to do something,
Hmm.
open it up, and they look a little confused. As you watch, they like turn the engine and it doesn't turn on.
Okay. So it's still possibly nearby, but it looks like its progression path is probably going to be that path of cars.
At this point, then, Harlow, would you like to trigger your next investigative mystery?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what was it going to do?
What was it going to do? Oh, very simple. Feed.
Oh,
And not
okay.
just what was it going to do, that's what it did.
Oh.
It fed.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
It is not very it is not very intelligent. Its
Mhm.
intention, the thing that it was here to do, what it was going to do was feed, and that is what it did.
Mhm. Mhm. Uh, Rob,
Hmm.
you said that it's headed north. Is that right?
North towards this path of cars, it looks like.
Right. Okay. If it is eating power, like Aki kind of said, if like energy, electricity, then we need to figure out then in order to prevent it from leaving this space, we need to figure out a way to sort of isolate the path of electricity from the vehicles, I guess, out of the building. That seems extreme. I don't know how to do that.
Awkward is probably in the middle of Cam's story.
Yeah.
While he's shaking his head, just walk off for a second, kind of like go to an edge of a car and like slightly hide behind it, and
Mhm.
then pull down his glasses. And I would like to use the sight, which I just got.
Okay.
I can see the invisible, especially spirits and magical influences. And they give you more opportunities to spot clues when you investigate a mystery.
Okay. Got it. So go ahead and give me an investigate a mystery roll.
Oh, it does have dice under the site. Do you want me to roll that or investigate mystery?
Go ahead and redo the dice, see if it does it.
Okay.
I think it might have it right.
Apparently, apparently it's based off sharp, so we're good. No.
Oh.
Level up again. Level up
Ugh.
again.
That's not our
Uh
experience.
Awkward.
Really?
You open it up. Um uh let's see. I gotta read the site specifically.
Yeah, sure.
I think you have a bad trip.
We're having a bad trip.
Yeah, so the site.
It doesn't really have failure criteria like the rest of them do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Uh I'm gonna this one's gonna be fairly straightforward, I think, which is that uh Awkward, you are just fucking slammed with a headache. There is a lot going on, and you just tried to take it unfiltered, and you get a whole bunch of shit all at once, and it's just too much for any of it to process, and you are just locked in fetal position, like holding your head in, right? It feels like your head is coming out, and you have to just put your hands on your forehead to hold your head in.
Well, it's a good thing I took the time to make sure I wasn't noticed.
Well, yeah, but except now you're crouched behind a car and Cam is
Having a
standing right
panic
there.
attack.
Like Cam would probably know you're back there by now. So yeah, that is currently happening. Cam, do you do anything about? You're the nearest one to watch Awkward kind of dip out of your. You didn't see Awkward sort of scuttle away for a second, but you do notice Awkward isn't there anymore.
Mhm. Um, I think Cameron is like. It takes him a minute to realize that he is now alone,
Mm-hmm.
and as they start looking around, just awkward, awkward. Hey, any of y'all seen Awkward? He was right here with me a second ago.
We split up into groups so we don't lose each other.
Awkward, you can definitely hear that.
I was literally talking to him.
You just see a hand raise from behind a car. And then it disappears quickly as he goes back to hold his head again.
I think as the pain has kind of evolved, Awkward, you realize you're like pressing your sunglasses into your face. Like just trying to keep all light out, right? Every light hurts, and you just need to get your sunglasses as close to your eyes as you can to not see anything and not have any kind of light get in.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Awkward.
It's a headache, probably from the cell phone. Glad I got rid of it.
Okay. Okay. You want me to like get you to? I mean, we're at the hospital. We could get you to a doctor. Get you maybe some pain pills.
Oh God, that sounds like more lights.
Oh yeah. You're right. You want me see if I can get something out here for you?
I mean,
Here,
if we're
what?
talking,
Here you can lay down in my car for a bit. You can probably fit in the whole back, like the whole back seat's big enough to hold you. You can lay down there. There's yeah. We can just push this shit onto the floor. There we go. Clean back seat. I got a trauma blanket if you need one. Probably don't need that, but just in case you get cold or something.
he'll put the entire like blanket on his face.
Wraps it around his head. The rest of you see this for the record. You're free to like to pop into this tableau as Awkward is clearly having a moment.
All right, I'll leave you the key so you can lock it. I don't in case a monster or something comes. I don't know. Harlow said it might be a ghost. I don't think my car is ghost proof, but you never know.
He gives a thumbs up.
We will pan away for a moment to Deb. Give me a manipulate someone roll. As you get on the phone with you've now gone like 3 layers up on bosses.
Got it.
You've worked your way to talking to like somebody who's just under the president, right? Ooh.
Oh no.
Yeah, you essentially get told to fuck off. You get told to fuck off, and then they ask you to like give the phone to the secretary that you're talking to, the kind of administrator is a better word. And the administrator seems to listen to something they say for a second, and then says, I I've gotten permission to kindly ask you to leave."
Well, that's great, hun. They're your problem now. And I just leave the rest of the people like freaking out with the police officer.
Yeah, as you glance, you're like walking out, right? And you kind of glance. You could see over to the right a security guard beginning to make their way, but stopped, right? But just your natural, like, sort of sweep the room, right? As you're walking, you catch a security guard coming over to potentially do something, right? But you are, just a lady leaving a hospital now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was the consequence of your failure. The immediate consequence is you're getting told by you managed to climb your way up to somebody up high enough and they told you to fuck off.
Great. I will rejoin the rest of the team.
Yeah, you show back up in time for you see Cam is walking away from the car, having just like closed the door and said something to somebody inside. And that is where we currently are. Now you are all
What
back in the hospital together.
Are we back in the hospital or are we in the parking garage?
Sorry, you're back in the parking garage. Thank
Okay.
you. Yes,
Yeah.
you're on the 3rd floor of the parking garage.
What did we learn?
Ghosts.
One ghost, maybe. Little ghost.
Yeah.
Eats power, and it might be looking to escape.
That's also very bright.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. And Aqua said he thinks it didn't mean to really do the draining of the batteries, but it's been done.
Well, hell.
Anything useful inside?
Nah, they clammed up right quick, but at least we got them off our backs. They'll have their hands tied with all them individuals whose batteries got drained. Man, do I hate to say it, but if we think we need to lure this thing out, I think I know how. I'll pull out my keys to the Toyota Sienna hybrid minivan and say, I just happen to know something that's got a big bank of batteries that something that wants electricity might be interested in.
All
That's
right.
It's a good idea, Deborah. Do you think the car's big enough? I was thinking bigger bait, or maybe that the ghost has a bigger appetite now.
So it eats
Well,
the car?
I'd love to find something else. I don't want my Sienna to be out of commission, but
I think it's worth a shot, but what if it is getting hungrier? A couple car batteries, sure. But
you know
look
what?
around you.
I think I might know a guy. I want to use my fixer skill.
Uh-huh. What are you going for?
Well, you said something bigger, right? I think
Yeah.
I remember seeing in the newspaper that maybe like 3 months ago, they just put 6 hybrid city buses on the streets as part of a pilot program. I know a bus driver. Maybe I could get one for a little bit.
Yeah. Give me that charm roll. Okay. Let's see. On a 7 to 9, you know the person. There's a complication. So I think the complication I'm going to invoke is that I'm trying to interpret how 2 of these, because you owe them is fairly straightforward. I think this person is you, so you screwed this person over.
Okay.
And I think the way that happened is
No, look, I'll tell you what, right? I swear the person I bought those Taylor Swift tickets from swore to me that they were legit.
Let's see. I gotta remember the officer's name.
Davies.
Yeah, Officer Davies.
Not that one.
I invoked it earlier. It's Graham Morris.
Yeah, I think you fucked this person over because you associated yourself and you got like Graham Morris up this person's ass.
Okay.
And it got them a fucking huge reprimand at work for no fucking reason. Right?
Okay.
Like a whole bunch of shit came down on them for no reason. So like they're willing to help, but like they're not good. Like you're looking to borrow a bus, right?
Right.
Basically. And they're like, yeah, I'll give you a bus, but you can't keep it like a long time. You can borrow a bus for a drive, right? Like, you're gonna fuck them over again.
Yeah. No.
It's like the phone
problem.
call you're having. Like, You can use it for like an hour or two.
Right. No problem. And here's the thing. I know this is going to sound crazy, right? And I pull a big hunting knife out from my boot, right? I know this is going to sound crazy. You're going to want me to hit you in the head with the butt of this thing, right? So that way, if there's any problems, right, you can just say you got mugged, right? And the bus got taken.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
I'm imagining you have walked out of the parking garage and walked over to the bus stop, made a phone call. One of the bus drivers showed up. Everybody's watching Deb talk to a bus driver, at which point you whip them with the butt of a knife.
Right. I just crack them on the side of the head with the butt of a knife. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's.
Although,
I don't know if
I mean,
I'm
not crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm not doing that in broad
Yeah.
daylight. That's happening in the bus.
Yeah. You're going in the bus. So everybody if they went with Deb, then they might see it. But if they're watching from the parking garage, they see.
And to be clear, anybody's welcome to come with me. This is not like we're a team here. I'm not,
Yeah. So is everybody going with Deb when Deb's like, I got an idea?
I think knowing that Deb and Cam are on opposite running in opposite circles. Cam is going to give a little nod that says, "Yep, I got you. I know what's going on," and I will go sit in the front seat of my car.
I've got to imagine there's a lot of that between Cam and Deb. Like when one of the others like, "Yep, I see exactly what you're doing, and I need to be as far away from you when you're doing it." Got it.
I understand you don't want me around for this.
Right. Oh, like I want you around. You don't want to be around for this.
Got Amiros.
You don't want me around because you don't want you don't want a cop when you're starting to talk.
Right.
What about the other three who are not? Ak, your head is starting to feel a little better. Just from the sort of dim inside of the car.
That's good. I'll take the blanket off.
What about the other three outside? You going with Deb? Amiros, Harlow, and Rob?
I am not, because I am preparing what I anticipate is maybe going to have to become an exorcism. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a move associated, or just you're doing like?
I'm doing magic shit.
Okay.
Yep.
Amiros?
I feel like I trust Deb's what she's doing, right?
Yeah, Deb's good people.
Yeah. I don't think if Deb wants me as backup, I'm there for her, Avi. But otherwise, I know Deb can take care of herself. Look, if there's anybody I don't need to worry about, it's Deb.
Yeah, it's Deb. What about you, Rob?
I mean, it's much like what Amaros just said. Deb's got it. Like I'm not gonna.
I love the
question
idea that
Deb.
everybody just lets Deb go because Deb's like, I'll be right back. It's
Well,
just everybody's like, yeah.
Like, what would we do? This is Deb's
You'd
thing.
watch. Yeah.
Like last thing, like the biggest thing that still sticks out to Rob is that Deb saved him from dying because he thought a tree was nice. So like, you know,
Amiros, you see Deb get into the bus, talk to a person. The person looks kind of agitated. Get into a bus. You don't see what happens inside the bus, but you see the person comes back out, stumbles for a second, and then just wanders off towards, like, you're not really sure where, just off away. And you see Deb like turn and wave you down, like waving over from the bottom floor of the little, like, bus steps.
Yeah, I go make sure it's all good.
Yeah, as I'm waving Amiros and the rest of the crew over, I'm also yelling back to the person who I just clocked in the head. Yeah, well, one last thing. How do I turn on the out of service sign?
Well, if it's fairly straightforward.
Oh, I'll get it. You know what? You might want to pop in and ask for a little bit of ice.
I don't got that money. What like a $70 bag of ice. I'm good. I'll just get an Uber, probably.
I hop out of the bus. I give
Yeah.
this person like $2. I'm like, for the love of God, would you just go to the vending machine and get a Coke?
Okay.
It's nice and
yeah,
cold.
Sure.
Put it on your head.
Yeah. Thanks. Wow. I'm really glad I know you.
That was very kind of you, Deborah.
Yeah,
well,
it's a me.
gotta break some eggs, make an omelet.
See, exactly. Honey gets you more fruits or flies.
Yeah. Let's go, honey.
All right. So you've got the bus. Does
Yeah.
everybody like come with Deb on the bus that Deb has commandeered?
Yeah.
It is now, for time reference, we're probably around noon-ish. For all the investigations, waiting for the bus to get here. Awkward. I think your head feels a lot better since we had to wait a little bit for the bus driver to show up. You're probably at least functional or back in commission again. You still just got kind of a lingering sort of ache.
I'll go on the bus. I gotta get anything else to do.
Okay. Everybody getting on the bus, or is anybody staying behind for some reason?
I'm okay. Getting on the bus. Are we taking the bus somewhere?
Good question.
Because I did not think so. So I would be staying outside of the bus, thinking the
Well,
bus needs to be here.
I thought we were going to lure the ghost in and fight it inside the bus.
Yeah, I mean, I got the bait. I'm not really sure what we do after we lure this thing.
Okay, all right. Then I'll keep up with this. I'll go back to my chalk drawings.
Uh-huh.
All right, Deb, rev it up.
I mean,
you
we
want
know it's hunting in the garage. Can the bus fit in the garage or get close?
I mean, I could get it close, and if need be, I can fit it in. But I'll just deal with the repercussions afterwards.
Oh my god.
Rob, because of the question you asked me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think it's not in the parking garage and that it took off. Whether it's still in the area, you're not sure. But
But
it
if it's
was
not in the
clearly
parking,
Yeah, go ahead.
but if it's not in the parking garage, then how's it still having its effect linger?
Uh-huh. Well, you don't know though, right?
No, I know that's what his question is. He's like, so then there may be more than one.
Or it did it once and the battery don't undead itself?
Yeah, but somebody just pulled in. And if I'm not mistaken, theirs went dead.
I mean, I pulled in like an hour ago. That just means it was here an hour ago.
That's true too. Oh.
Here, Rob. I'll toss you my keys. Go check my car.
You want me to go by myself?
You don't have to. I can't go with you.
Yeah, I can go with you.
Absolutely baffled.
I will grab my duffel bag out of my car
Mhm.
and I will go with Rob.
Yeah. Pretty quickly I can tell you, like, Harlow's car seems fine.
Okay, so it's well, Harlow's cars works. Harlow's cars works. Okay, English.
We should
All right,
follow
well-
the direction that you discovered. Give chase.
It's more of a hunch based on the fact that it's wanting to eat off of batteries and electricity.
I place a hand on your shoulder and look you right in your eyes. Trust your instincts.
Okay. Let's go tell the group. Let's go north.
Okay, just why don't you got the keys? Why don't you like drive that down to mine? I got jumper cables. We can get mine going.
Yeah, he's like, Harlow gave me the keys. He should trust me enough for this. He rolls down the window. Doesn't light a cigarette, but he does pull one out the pack, sticks it in his mouth, and waits and just like starts up the car and then heads over to the group.
So you want to try to jump Cam's car, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Cam, it just doesn't seem to work.
Son of a bitch! Now I gotta
Goes
buy
to it
it.
still.
Now I gotta buy a goddamn new battery and.
Cam, weird thing that's just like a practical thing. It doesn't even spark.
Yeah, I got nothing. My fucking car is fucked from this fucking ghost. We're gonna need a.
Do you want to try to get it unhexed?
Wait, you think there's still magic on my car?
I told you there was.
You did?
Yeah.
When did you do that?
I don't know. I think probably when I saw it. I can give it a shot.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Okay. I'll go to what I am working on, which until all of this would have taken time anyway. But like until we knew really what we were precisely going to be needing, Harlow would have just been preparing like a spell circle, um, not with any intention yet, but would have prepared it for when he knew that was going to be occurring. Um, which for his spell circles, they are a circle up until like the near meeting point at the very bottom of each of them. Uh, he just draws them with like literally sidewalk chalk, and has some like small taper candles and small incense and a box of matches and salt that he operates with. Um, and as he's getting this ready, he is what I am going to do is attempt to I gotta read the
I assume
fucking
used
thing.
magic, right?
Yeah, use magic is the
Uh-huh.
plan. And I've got to what I want to do is unbind this car.
Okay. I will interpret this one at least per what we've got here is like
Mhm.
banishing a curse from the person, object, or place. Curse is a
Yes.
little broad. This probably isn't a curse, but that feels close enough for the flim flammy of the magic
Yep.
for monster of the week purposes, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and give me that weird roll as you are setting up the circle around Cam's car.
Yeah. And as he completes his ritual, there is like verbal component to this prayer, but it is very quiet. He keeps that very personal. When he is finished, he sets his two hands with the thumbs touching to the ends of the circle, and completes the circle with his own flesh. Um, and then we'll try rolling for weird. Woo!
Okay.
Let's go.
Uh, it, yeah, it simply you choose your effect. That is your effect. Uh, interestingly, uh, the after a moment, the you can like hear the battery like kind of clicking, uh,
Mhm.
and the car doesn't turn on, right? But you can feel nobody can really like see anything that happened, but you can all hear a very strange like clicking inside of the battery for a moment as this transfer of power occurs. And Harley, you're pretty confident it worked even before the jumping happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think that in the same way that he can sense flows of magic, he can tell when his spells have completed, but that doesn't necessarily issue a visual cue all the time, especially these like little ritual paths he makes.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so the car is jumpable. Cam, your
Yeah.
car is back to life.
Yeah, I like put my hands down, I say a few things, and get up and dust the chalk off of my hands, and I say, "Turn it over again."
Yeah, it works, Cam. Engine
Look
turns
at
over.
that.
So that magic shit does work.
It would be a really big waste of my time if it didn't work.
Hey, some people just want to believe in it. I just had to really confirm it.
I mean, you're right. It took a long time to figure out what actually works. It's worth it when it does, though. You can fix a car without ever having walked into a mechanic's shop before.
We'll put my duffel bag back in the trunk of my car.
Uh-huh. So at the moment we have 3 potential cars in play, 4 if you count Deb's, and one of them is a bus. Uh, if you reconvene, then what is your current plan, or your discussion about your current plan?
We want to follow the trail of where it's going, right? And then
Yep.
the idea of getting the bus and everything is to try to like offer it a snack to lure it.
Mhm.
Okay. So you all pile into the bus and just head off north-ish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of those instances where rolls are probably going to need to be triggered to accomplish this thing, right? Whether it
Mhm.
is um you could probably argue to me that you're trying to read a bad situation potentially. You could try to use magic a way to figure this out, uh Harlow. There are multiple avenues, but you would need to give me some kind of roll that that or move that hones in on trying to find this thing, right? Trying to hunt it down.
Mhm.
It really this is for anyone, anybody who has an idea
Uh,
or has a general sense, or even if it's just throwing in investigate a mystery and trying to fish for that one question, right?
I'd love to use a pendulum to get us a +1 forward if we could. Just do some basic divination to get Deb maybe on the right path. We know we're headed north, but we don't know how far or anything.
So do you want that to be a help out then, or a use magic?
Uh, do. Better at use magic. Bad at cool. All right.
Okay,
8.
so in construction, what you've got here is like you said, a pendulum where it is generally pointing in a direction, right?
Mhm.
It's kind of pointing forward a little bit. So it it's giving you direction, but not like pinpoint accuracy, right? And right
Yeah.
now it's pulling north. And so I assume Deb, you kick it into gear and start heading north, right?
Yeah, I'll kick it into gear and
How
I
fast are you
will
going?
I'm going just above the speed limit. Um I don't want to call any additional attention to the bus that currently has virtually no passengers on it.
Mhm.
What I am doing is trying to focus on both the direction that Harlow is telling me to go, and also as I'm going in that direction, look to see any signs of electricity being out, stoplights that aren't working, cars that seem to have stalled in the middle of the road, storefronts whose signs have gone dark or whose the storefront lights are out, anything like that.
Smart.
Okay, so in this particular case, I think Harlow gave you an appropriate and contextual +1, right?
Okay,
But probably like a +1 ongoing.
right,
And I do think this is a instance where this will synergize with your +1 ongoing from driving.
right.
It's not we'll probably actually call this a +1 forward and a +1 ongoing, which
Okay,
can synergize together.
Okay.
So you've gotten your +1 forward. That was Harlow giving you this thing, right?
Gotcha.
And your driving is +1 ongoing for a total
Okay.
of +2 to an investigate a mystery and or read a bad situation. You this is a moment where I can step in to point out that you can the questions that read a bad situation, if you
Mhm.
interpret the situation you are in as bad, right? Read a
Right.
bad situation gives you a different codex of things to ask
Yeah, I'm
that
looking at that
potentially
right
are
now.
different and more useful.
Right.
And when we're in this kind of scene where shit is happening,
Right.
this is a case where you could give me like a read a bad situation, right? Because you're in an active situation currently.
Mhm.
We're in a scene, something is happening, right? This is for everyone. It's kind of hard to know where the line between investigate a mystery and read a bad situation is. Generally, it's like a contextual, like we're in it now. Now you
Yeah,
can probably trigger either.
I do think I'm going to stick with investigate a mystery because we
That's
still
fine.
don't know where this thing is.
Yep.
Right. So let's do that. And
And
that's
a +2.
+2.
Jeez.
Huge.
Okay. Give me those. I assume one question, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, one question is where's it going? That we're trying to follow it.
You drive north and the
Mhm.
pendulum swings to the right.
Mhm.
You drive down a side street. The pendulum swings to the right again, and in front of you, you realize, hospital, employee parking garage.
Okay.
You were in the visitor parking garage. Dead ahead of you is the employee parking garage.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Great.
That's question number 1. You don't know for sure, but you
Uh-huh.
have a moment where you round the corner and you see the pendulum pointing
Right.
towards it, right? You see a line of cars and you realize like, fuck, there's multiple, right? This one was on the other side of a big building, right? You couldn't see it from the other one, but you realize like, shit, there is a different parking garage for employees. Here it is.
Well, I don't know.
You wouldn't necessarily, I guess, guarantee it's
Mhm.
for employees, right? You just see another parking garage.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a sign up that says employee
Yeah.
parking, right? So I'm sure I can clock that pretty
Mhm.
easy.
You can hold the other one, right? If you don't know, if you want to wait. Because you got your primary one, right? Which is like, where's it going? So now you have a
Yeah, I
hint.
guess I'll hold the. I mean, I've got something, but I don't know that the answer helps us out at all. So I'll just hold on to the
Okay.
other one until something becomes more obvious.
Got it. Do you tell everyone?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Your realization is you round the corner.
Yeah. I'm like, look, everybody. I mean, it was done feeding over there, but I got dollars to donuts that it just moved to the next, grocery store, and it's probably in there feeding. I mean, if we're lucky,
Then-
it's still in there.
Then there's no time to lose.
Agreed.
Lord.
How?
Ah,
What is the clearance on this parking garage?
You will not be able to get in with the bus. You could
Make
park
haste, Deborah.
probably just outside the ramp, but you can't get up the first. Right, that first dip, you'd
Right.
scrape the shit out of that yellow bar on the top.
Yeah, I'll
We
stop
shall
before.
ride the steed into battle.
All right. Look, I like where your heart's at, Amiris, but we got to play this smart. If we scrape this bad boy up, we'll have the cops out here in no time. Maybe we should go in and see if we can't see if it's still feeding first.
Wise.
Does anybody have any moves to trigger as the bus is pulling to a stop, kind of angled upwards as far as it can get into the... You've now basically blocked access to the parking garage as well, right?
Yeah.
The entrance, nobody can drive in there anymore.
Right.
You've effectively cut that completely off.
Yeah. I'm gonna turn the high beams on the bus on too.
Okay.
Just try and generate and use as much electricity as possible to try and attract this thing.
Anybody want to trigger a move of any kind here?
Yeah. I want to. I want to know. If what my memories have to say about fighting ghosts.
Okay. Doug, there is no fear. Power level. Get in there.
Okay, I will roll weird. It's an 8. Okay,
so
7 to 9. A past life has a past life has a little experience with this. Ask the keeper one of the questions below.
What's your question?
What did a past me learn too late to help them?
Ooh.
You are getting out of the bus and you look up and you are standing on a dirt road. You are in the middle of a conversation with there was a peasant and the peasant's wife, and they had a few animals, but the main animal they had was a horse. And they asked you for help, uh, and you came and didn't see anything obvious. Uh, but on passing back through, uh, the horse, something happened to the horse. Something befell the horse. You think potentially it was like it threw one of the shoes and something went wrong, and it got wounded, and therefore this is like a calamity for this impoverished family, right? And you, in kind of that moment, realize like, it was probably some form of mischief spirit that it didn't even it to harm wasn't even the point. It was just fucking around, right? And you had sensed potentially something like that, but it didn't feel malevolent enough for you to warn them, so you didn't, right? And that is the brief flash of memory you have as your feet are hitting the parking garage.
I feel we're getting closer. Definitely.
Anybody else triggering a roll?
I'm thinking about trust your gut. It seems like a very good one at the moment. But we
Okay.
don't really need to know where to go, so I'm
Real
just gonna
quick, I'll chime off down the list, and everybody could say whether they got an idea, and we'll do all the rolls at once and resolve them in order, right? But as we're kicking shit off, we'll start with Harlow. You got anything you want to trigger here? You waiting to see what the others
I have
do?
to lay eyes upon it first.
Okay. What about awkward?
Yeah. I'm thinking about trying to use
Do
the
it.
sight again.
You're trying to use what?
The sight again.
Okay,
Yeah, get some.
do it.
Sword of Omens.
All right. I'll walk in front of everyone just a little bit so they don't see
Uh-huh.
my eyes.
Yeah, as you pull your sunglasses down and just stare straight up.
Oh my god, he's Goju.
Do it.
Yes.
Yeah, hell
Oh,
yeah.
you can ask me one question, friend. Actually, hold on. We'll get through everybody's roles and then we'll resolve them all as a stack.
Okay.
So now we're to Rob. Amiros is doing this sort of like reverie moment.
I'm gonna hold off on mine. I don't feel like I need to use mine right now.
Deb, what are you doing?
Oh, geez.
You have access to a bus, right? You've got a bus. You're blaring the high beams, right?
Yeah, I mean, I will look to. Mm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna look to. I think I'm gonna look to Harlow and be like, "Look, I got us here, right? I got some resources that might be helpful, but in terms of finding this thing, I'm sort of in the dark. But you got them good eyes. I'm sure you can get us closer, and I'm just going to try and encourage him and help out.
Okay.
Aw.
So go ahead and do me the roll for
Yeah.
that. Okay. And now Cam, what do we got?
I'm going to activate my tactical genius.
Read a bad situation.
Yep.
Our first read a bad situation roll.
I can
Give it to
roll
me.
cool instead of sharp.
Mm-hmm.
That's a failure.
Okay. And
On
now
a miss, you might misread the situation, or you might reveal tactical details to your enemy, which means the keeper can ask the questions above of you. 105.
interesting.
I'm also going to extend this reading a bad situation failure to, oh, this is a ghost? Let me get my bag. Which is absolutely, there is nothing in there that will help.
Nice.
Cam, who would you judge as the most vulnerable of your group?
Oh,
Just
boy.
at a glance. Who's got the softest hide?
Trying to decide, everybody's, it's not going to be Deb. Deb has head on a swivel, knows what's up. Same with
Mhm.
Omeros. Omeros is something, I don't know what. He's lived a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know this one.
But between Harlow, who knows what to do and will be vulnerable while doing it, and Rob, who I've worked with Rob a few times. Rob can sometimes get a little lost in the sauce. That's a tough decision. And then who knows, when
What's
Awkward's going to have an episode and
what's Cam's
end up
gut?
real
What's Cam's
vulnerable.
gut say? Who's
My
the weakest?
gut says currently it's most likely to be Rob.
Okay, cool.
Rob is probably the most vulnerable because nothing's being done yet
Okay.
So accurate.
for Harlow.
It's
So
so accurate.
my final question then, Harlow, is there anything you are triggering? Deb has given you essentially a call to action, right? In the form of a help out role that
Yeah.
is a mixed success.
Yeah. Uh, I want to jump out and start looking for ghosts.
Okay, what does that look like? What do you do? Are you doing a use magic? Are you doing an investigate a mystery or read a bad
Uh,
situation?
So I'm what I want to do. Okay. I'm Oh, you know what? One thing we didn't think about with the Occam's broadsword is the
Mhm.
+1 forward for dealing with the phenomenon. Um,
You used it in
okay.
your subsequent roll.
Oh yes,
But I
forward.
will
Not
point out
sorry,
once
sorry. I was
you
thinking
yes,
yeah, forward.
although again, once you see something,
Yep.
we'll have different triggers. Rob will have a trigger and you will have a trigger.
Yeah, and I think I think I want to run out to begin investigating.
Okay.
um, Exposing myself to danger. I have my pendulum to kind of
Mhm.
keep me in the right direction.
So
I've
give
got a
me an
hagstone to keep a good eye out.
investigate a
And a wand in a
mystery.
pocket.
Investigate a mystery with a +1.
Okay, will it? Do I have to type in +1?
You just type
I
1.
think type just
Okay,
1.
so it's a minus. You do -1 if that is what is called for.
So you got a 4 plus 3,
Plus
7
The
1,
plus
9.
8.
9.
Yeah.
So you get that. So now we will resolve in order. Uh, Ak, give me your investigate a mystery roll.
Do
Or
you want me
not
to roll?
roll. You already did your roll. Give me the
Yeah.
question. Yeah.
I'm trying
With the
to like,
sight on.
yeah, I'm trying to find
Yeah.
like a trail so I can like further specifically locate the creature.
Okay. I'm gonna hang on to that one for a second.
Okay.
Harlow, give me your question.
Um, Let's see. I think I only get the one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, I have to ask, where did it go in order to find it? Would that be apt in this moment?
I think so. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Um, then I'll have to wait till someone else can roll what can hurt it, because I've got to find it. So.
Well, this is where I think Deb would jump in, seeing as how, like, I've got a question in the bag, right? I've got a second question I haven't
Uh-huh.
asked yet, right? I see everyone is asking the same question, including Deb. It was my first question, which is, where is it? Everyone's focused on where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right? Deb is now thinking ahead to, look, I know this crew. I'm pretty confident we're going to find it. What are we going to do when we find it? And so,
Yeah.
in Deb's mind, that means, is there any clues here that can tell me what can hurt it?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to set off a series of triggers. Okay.
Cool.
So, first thing that is going to happen is I'm going to resolve the failure for a read a bad situation, which is going to feed into first Awkward's role of looking for it. Awkward, you pull your glasses down and look up, and you can see kind of a secondary image of this small, like, almost looks like a lightning bolt flickering from one thing to another thing to another thing. You see it pause, and then you realize like the direction changes, and it's confusing for a second because you're watching it move from left to right above you, right? But you realize you're seeing it come towards you. Then we will do so that's one. The answer to your question of you asked me where, like, for basically its path, right?
Yeah, I was trying to find its like specific location so I could point it out to people. Like
Right. So
follow.
you
Yeah,
you
trails.
point up, and you do have enough time to shout there as you see it clear the you see with your sight open it clear the uh the ceiling above you.
Yeah, I would definitely say something.
Okay. We will then trigger at this point actually, yeah, so two things are going to trigger. Both Rob, you have an automatic trigger for your move, right? 'Cause you're seeing something.
Yes. I'm trying to remember which one. 1 second.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Yeah, I might be thinking of a different move that I thought you might have had, or that you had earlier on.
So can we
Isn't it
all see
Harlow
it now?
has the thing that sees something?
Yeah, no, I thought the cryptozoologist has one of those in their books, and I thought it was one that you took. It's not, but now we will. So setting that aside, we will trigger Occam's broadsword.
It's a cascading thing. It's so
Yes, you've
annoying.
got several.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you immediately ask investigate a mystery question as you see it.
Okay. So I'll go first with what can hurt it. That way we
Uh,
can all get that answer fast.
what can hurt it? Your immediate thought is it's made of electricity, rubber. Your second thought is it's a spirit, silver.
Okay. All right.
Two immediate
Um.
thoughts you have. You don't have much time to react on those, so and then this is also going to trigger Occam's broadsword, right?
Let me double
Because
check.
you're seeing a creature.
Um.
It's the
Yep.
seeker loop.
Yes. I get to ask what sort of thing it is,
Yeah, so
and then a +1
you'll
forward.
write down on your sheet that you're getting a +1 forward. It is very
Yes.
clearly a natural creature.
Okay.
So mark somewhere +1 forward.
Yep.
So that will then trigger so the investigative mystery went off for Awkward. Deb, your help out is going to expose you to harm, because the follow-up answer to your question is you see a, like, almost like blink and you'll miss it as something fires down into the, like, goes through the hood and into the engine.
Okay.
Then That was so. Your question was about like where is it, right? That was the
Well, no,
the question.
my question was what can hurt it?
What can hurt it? Okay.
Yeah.
From your position,
Mhm.
the best thing that you can do is slam the fucking brakes. You have a
Great.
brief moment here where you see it begin to try to do something, so you slam the fucking brakes, right?
Hmm.
And then that is resolving the stack. I think, Harlow, you had your questions resolved, right? Or do you have one that's still floating?
I have one more.
Okay.
Um,
You just all of you saw a mote of light appear from the ceiling. Only Awkward sees its shape, which is like a little mote that almost looks like a bolt of electricity. The rest of you just see a flicker of light as it almost like ghost fire, like flickers through the air and hits the engine.
Okay. This still has to be an investigate a mystery roll, or can it become read a bad situation?
We're not doing right now. We're just resolving the second investigate a mystery. You can
Okay,
hang on
gotcha.
to you can hang on to that other question if you'd like, and just mark down that you have it, right? And bring it out later.
I think I will in case it gets away.
Okay. I need you then, Deb, to
Uh,
give me an act under pressure roll
okay.
as you are slowing it down, but the car is rolling forward and the car is very clearly trying to slam into Rob Hawks.
Okay.
It's beginning to scrape against the yellow of the like barrier thing, and as the like all of you hear the wheels screeing, right, as the bus begins to lurch forward. You have your foot firmly on the gas, right, but you've got a moment here to try to spin the wheel to not hit Rob.
I
Okay.
have a question
Mhm.
before he rolls. Um, is there a way to interfere with the creature?
Potentially. Give me your pitch.
So I have a jinx where I can encourage coincidences to occur that I want, and I can help a hunter by giving them +1 forward by interfering with the enemy.
Okay, so you want to try to jinx the because you can still see it because of the sight. You
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to see it if you didn't have the sight, but you do have eyes on it as this is kicking off. So you want to
Cool.
trigger your jinx to try to jinx it, right?
yeah. I just don't
Okay.
know how like interfering, like
Give
what my
me
is for interfering are.
give me a weird roll.
Okay. Hey, I get a hold 1, but I guess I'll use it to give him a +1.
Okay, that's a +1 forward and a +1 ongoing. Deb, you'll have a +2 to your act under pressure to not hit, essentially to make sure the bus does not hit Rob, who
Great.
is just now turning to look as only you and Awkward. Awkward has the advantage of being able to physically see it, and you
Okay.
have the advantage of knowing like having a jump on it, right? Because you
Gotcha.
felt it and can therefore react, right?
All right. Here we go.
Hey,
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Mhm.
As all of you turn right and begin to like scramble to the side as you hear the front tires just screeching, right, as smoke is being given off. All of you saw a mote of light hit the engine. uh Deb, you like shift gears and just throw the wheel to the side,
Hmm.
right, so that even if it can make the wheels go forward, it can't make it go, it
Right.
can only send it, even if it can spin the wheels, right? It can't make it go forward. It's going to make it go to the side, right?
Hmm.
As you just hold the steering wheel, the bus careens to the side, slamming into what looks like one of those like badge readers that would probably let people into and out of one of the like little folding arm things further up the ramp,
Yeah.
completely smashing it apart. And you kind of like one wheel goes up onto the curb. Rob, it almost hit you. You like have a brief moment where the bus almost wings you as you like whip around and it like throws your cloak to the side. Or not cloak, your jacket to the side. Uh
Nice.
we will in this moment to describe where everyone is. All of you are turned now to see Deb has both hands on the wheel, foot almost standing up on the brake, right? Both hands on the wheel spun to the side, keeping. The bus is continuing like to try to push forward. It's currently kind of getting stuck as it's going up over the sort of dividing median between the ingoing and outgoing to this parking garage. All of you are seeing this now. And that is where we are going to end this particular session.